What is up, y'all? This is DPS Podcast. That's episode 223. I didn't get it wrong. 223. That's DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast. And it's not a Thursday night. And I'm not feeling all right. My back hurt. I'm old. I'm tired. And it's Saturday. So, yeah, this is what we're going to roll with. I am your co-host, SloMoBackSlap, with my co-host, Forte. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Wait, listen. It's the weekend. It's like when it's ladies' night. You should feel all right. It's ladies' night. Now, oh, what a night! That that song. But when it comes to like the weekend, it's supposed to be like jubilation and amazing fireworks coming out of the sky. Especially when Friday was Good Friday. And most people that got, jobs that really matter don't work on Good Friday. So most people got extended weekends off.
Wait, hold up, pause. You said jobs that really matter?
Yes, jobs that really matter.
So for those listening, if
Lord,
you had to work on Friday, your job don't matter.
I had to work on Friday. Well, actually, I think I took Friday off.
Oh, so again, he's talking about all of y'all.
I take that.
Your job does not matter, according to Gaming Forte.
No, my job does matter. I just didn't have to
comments
work
about the relevancy of your job and how important it is needs to be all funneled to and directed to Mr. Gaming Forte, SloMoBackSlap, and DPS Podcast.
We all
DPS
know
Gaming does not subscribe to that thinking. This stance by DPS is that all jobs matter. Okay,
they do all matter, but some that give you holidays.
Very important.
Some that give you holidays off matter a little bit more.
Yeah, Jax 82 in the chat wants to know what you saying. He's like, I worked Friday, but what you mean?
I worked Friday. Well, I was supposed to work Friday.
You didn't work Friday.
I took Friday off.
Because your job matters.
No, I just took it off. I forgot it was Good Friday, to be honest with you. I just took it off because
I also forgot. I
forgot it was Good Friday.
I started working, saw an issue, hit up my coworker. I was like, yeah, I'm seeing some weird stuff going on here in the network. He was like, bro, I'm at Hershey Park. He was like, I'm at Hershey Park, man. I was like, what you doing at Hershey Park? He was like, bro, it's a holiday, man. We off. I was like, say no more. I will look at this stuff. If this is an issue tomorrow, I'll deal with it.
Yep. And guess what, Slo? And guess what?
Logged off.
And guess what? He felt like he was like, wait a minute, hold up, man. You don't know today a holiday? Us, the people that got, listen, it ain't nothing against people that work, because I normally work on Fridays too, and it's a Good Friday. But I always envy the people that have a job where it's like holiday, like if a bank is closed, you have one of the greatest jobs ever, because you don't work on holidays. You damn near barely work on weekends. So if a bank is closed and you're off, that is like chef's kiss, especially if it's a job that you actually like. Because trust me, there are some jobs out there that people just work because it pays bills and they hate it. Mm-hmm. But if you got a job
sometimes eventually, I always believe this, eventually, if you work that kind of job where you're just doing it because the money's good, eventually you're going to quit that job because you just can't take it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I one of my exes a long time ago. She worked for like an airline.
I like how your voice got real low when you started saying my ex that I used to work with a long time ago.
Can you not interrupt with the comment?
2 doors down.
Can you not interrupt with the additional context? Everyone got it, okay? Everyone knew that already, all right? Anyway, so look.
Just for the people that didn't know, his voice got 3 decibels lower than it normally is. So go ahead.
So anyway, if I recall correctly, out of college, her degree was finance. She was working as a stockbroker. Hated it. Mm-hmm. But the money was so good that she said if she was able to do that for like 5 or 6 years, she could just retire. Just straight up retire. and that was her goal. Just suck it up for 5 or 6 years, but she lasted like 2. She just couldn't do it, and so like I think that no matter how good the money is, I mean everyone's got that threshold, right? So like you may be able to deal with it longer than 2 years, like you know some people may or may not be able to, but eventually you're gonna get up out of there. Eventually you're just gonna get burnt out. But anyway, yeah, I had the holiday off and I just didn't realize it. Started working. And then realize I'm glad that, you know, I work from home, so I didn't like drive into the office and then realize I shouldn't have been there.
Right, you would have pulled into the office driveway. It's like, why isn't there no cars here?
There's no cars in the parking lot. What's happening? And you know,
this was a 45-minute drive for nothing.
Yeah, shoot, longer than that for me. That had been like an hour and 15 minutes.
When's the last time you actually drove into the office?
January. Yeah, it was January. Yeah, I actually drove twice into the office that week. That was the first.
This man got to get his parking pass revalidated because he ain't been at the facility in almost half a year.
Yeah, you know, I check it every now and then. Every time I go in there, there's like some new employee that's just like, everyone else is like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, who is that guy? How does everyone know him?
He's a special individual that don't have to come in here but during emergency situations.
Right, and if you I mean, look, in networking there's always going to be some kind of fire to pull out. Yeah, you see me in the office, there's something bad happen. Something really bad happen.
That's just like in retail. If you see HR or if you see LP, it's a problem. If something happened. What happened?
Well, what have you been playing, man? What you been playing?
Monster Hunter. I think I didn't kick my NCAA hit. I haven't really played that much. I think I'm starting to wind down on that and get ready for the next one. I've been playing Triangle Strategy on my Switch. I picked it up because it was we had a buy 2 get 1 free, and there was a couple of games that, you know, are getting, you know, the upgraded Switch 2. And I was like, you know what? Before Nintendo make me pay full price for these things, let me just grab these used games now so I can just pay $10 for the upgrade instead of $70 for a copy of it. Not doing that. So I picked up Triangle Strategy. That wasn't one of the games that's on the list. At least right now it's not. But I never played it. And I'm super into those type of games like turn-based and everything like that. Like I love Bravely Default 1 and 2.
The chat and specifically Game Logic in the chat is calling cap on your you've kicked college football because he said and I quote, Forte ain't playing nothing.
Sir.
But college football, I see the Discord.
I know you see the No, you see the Discord.
In Discord, it says. What say you playing here?
It says I'm in voice right now. It doesn't say I'm playing anything.
Okay, you got lucky.
No, it doesn't say I'm playing anything right now. I'm in voice. But no, when you see like over this week when it said you see me in college football, I was trying to sell a player that was like 1 million coins. And he never would sell because I'm like, dude, please sell so I could get these coins. And I had to go back in every day to see if he sold and relist them. And then, you know me, I just leave my system on sometimes and I'll go to sleep with it on and everything like that. But when I tell you, I've literally haven't played a game of college football, even though it shows me online because my system probably is on and it is probably in the game. But I haven't played a game of college football in over a week. You probably see my Discord saying I'm in Red Dead a lot because I don't know. Does it probably shows
I
me
never
on there?
see it show you doing anything but playing college football.
Okay, so that's cool. It doesn't show because my daughter, I put a picture of that on X. She commandeered my PC for literally like almost the last week. Like
man, he after you in the chat, man. He after you. He said it takes a long time to explain a lie. He's saying
game logic.
You're over explaining. You're doing too much. You're doing
game
too
logic.
much.
Okay, well, first of all, if I don't see color, you can't slander me in the chat because we do have the ability for you to slander me with color. But if you are more than welcome to come in here if you ain't doing nothing. I know you know, game like you got a job that probably matters, you know, because you had the whole weekend off and you're on the extended weekend. So you probably ain't doing nothing. So if you want to slander me, come into the Discord and do it, or pay with color to do it, sir. But whatever he says, nothing. But like I said, my daughter commandeered my PC, and I'm on episode. What am I on?
Bro, it's time to build her a PC, man.
Oh, it is. She done
fancy,
already.
You know, kids first PC. You know, I've done that already. Like, give them a nice little mid-range GPU, nice little mid-range CPU. You know, something that get them.
I already got
1440p 60. You know.
Yeah. I already got a CPU. I already got not a CPU, but I already have a motherboard. I already got the power supply. I already got RAM. I just got to get another case for it. But yeah, they'd probably get like a little $300-400 GPU for it. She'll be fine. But no, this is the funny thing. She bought Red Dead like on her own. Like she, $300 something from her birthday, and not for birthday, for Christmas and stuff. And she was like, "Yeah, I bought Red Dead Redemption." I was like, "When and where?" She said, "Oh, on PC on Steam." I was like, "Okay. What account did you use?" She said,
on your account.
No. I said, "What account did you use?" She said, "Oh, on my own account." I was like, "You have a Steam account?" She's like, "Yeah."
Oh, no. You didn't even know she had a Steam account?
Dog, no, because she just made a Steam account. And I was like, "You just..." So she... And then when I go to my Steam, and then I went to my Steam account and I noticed that I wasn't like logged. Well, I was logged in, but it was the profile was switched. I was like, this girl actually has her own Steam account. And there it is, Red Dead Redemption, all in bold letters. Matter of fact, how many hours? Let me tell you how much. How many? Here it is right here.
Do you own Red Dead Redemption? Because like, if you just, she did. No, of course, you didn't.
No,
because like she just made the account, but now that she's got the account, you can game share with her. And then give her access to, because like that's what I do with my son, even though he don't play none of the games. She has access
to my games. Now, I didn't own Red Dead Redemption 2 because I played it on Xbox. I never found a reason to buy it on PC. But she has 26.6 hours into Red Dead.
Already?
26. And she's only been playing since, I want to say what? Probably Sunday.
Hey, look, this is going to sound bad. This is going to sound bad, but your daughter be putting you to shame, man.
Oh, no, I'm proud of her, bro. She is the gamer.
She be putting you to shame.
Listen, she is the gamer that I swear to God I used to be when I was younger. Because I like just stuck on one game, just playing a whole bunch of different stuff. And you know what she told me? I was like, when I was watching her play with keyboard and mouse, and I asked her, I was like, why aren't you playing with controller? And she was like, she said, because it sucks. I was like, what do you mean it sucks? She said, well, no. She was like, well, no, it doesn't suck. She said, I can play. I said, could I ask? I said, well, you play Spider-Man on my PS5 with a PS5 controller, and you did perfectly fine.
She had no choice.
Yeah, she had no choice. But she also said, well, no, she said, I can play with a controller. She said, Spider-Man is like a hack and slash. So you just hit a bunch of buttons and you just do whatever you want to do. And you just learn the combinations and stuff. She said, but when it comes to aiming, I want to use a mouse because she said, I don't understand how people can aim with a thumbstick.
Really?
That's what she said, bro. She said, I will never play a shooter on a console because she said, I don't know how people aim with a thumbstick. And I was looking, I was like, you know what? Every shooter I've ever seen her play, from Fortnite to just like whatever that Battle Blocks is for the Battlefield clone thing that's on Roblox and stuff, she always played it with a mouse and keyboard. So she is legit only going to play keyboard and mouse when it comes to shooters or probably like, simulation games and stuff like that. Whereas God of War and Spider-Man and stuff like that, she'll play with a with a controller. Like she asked me yesterday, she's like, "Hey Dad, do you have Last of Us on PC?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Oh yeah, you need to game share with me because I want to play that." And I was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, I said, and she loves the TV show too. So she's like, dude, she's like the gamer that I swear to God that I grew out of. Like I still am I feel like I'm fraudulent compared to her. It's ridiculous.
So is game and frauding? Is that it? I don't know. Is that what the GF stands for now? Instead of game and Forte, is game and frauding? But we need Yoshi. Yoshi needs to get back. He needs to get back in here and do the super chat.
Oh, Game Logic. Fancy to see you here. You know what? Thank you for the $10 super chat, sir. I hope you have enough to still pre-order your Switch 2 when it comes out next week when you can do pre-orders. Because $10 is a lot of money. But thanks again for that. But Game Logic with the $10 super chat, he gonna make me go get on the Mac to come slander him in person. That's how we gonna do. Listen, Forte is a very, very understanding person, but he does not tolerate it. And I know from experience because I sit next to him every day when he's on his PC or his Xbox. He does not tolerate people trying to slander him when they're not here to do it in person. So if you want to slander him, listen, if you want to slander him, you just did the right thing. I see yellow, and I appreciate that.
We only have you on the payroll. Nintendo only allows us to have you on the payroll to do super chats. You can't add no additional commentary. We don't want the Nintendo lawyer ninjas coming after us. We just need Yoshi on the super chats, nothing else. No defending Forte, none of that stuff. But shout out to Game Logic. Appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Game Logic. And Yoshi, he a little drunk right now, so don't really listen to exactly what he says.
All right, so for myself, what's on Jumbotron right now is
what is this game?
This is Metal Eden. And it's kind of like a Doom game. Gameplay's a lot like Doom when it comes to like the gunplay. It's actually pretty good. I played a little bit of it. It's got a free demo out right now. It's about 2 levels in the demo, but they're not short levels at all. So you get a good amount of time. You get to unlock a bunch of different guns. Do some boss fights, some horde mode parts of the level. It's pretty good. I like it. I'm probably going to pick it up when it comes out. Unfortunately, it did get delayed. When I played the demo, it was supposed to come out later this month, I think, like next week. Yeah, like I think it was supposed to come out on the 24th. And then they made an announcement that it got delayed until sometime this summer. That won't have a new release date. But check out the demo. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I've been playing that. I beat South of Midnight. I don't know if I talked about, did I say I beat South of Midnight last week?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Okay, all right. So forget about that. I haven't played since then. I'm just trying to think of everything that I've been playing. I played a little bit of Call of Duty, but not too much. And I've been playing a lot since I beat South of Midnight. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, and I'm really building. I did probably one of the better endings. I think there are only really two good endings in Cyberpunk. The rest of them make you just feel bad for everyone. It's just feel like just nothing could go right for any of these people. And even the good endings aren't and everyone lived happily ever after kind of endings. It's just this isn't as bad as the other ones. There's a silver lining of good stuff here, that kind of thing. So it's I did one of the endings, and it was, I actually didn't realize I hadn't done that ending before because of choices, and so I made different choices this time and did the ending. It was pretty good. And I've been kind of just messing around with my Netrunner build because I'm probably in the next week going to do the secret ending. So when I do that, I was going to live stream it because it's supposed to be pretty dope. And maybe that'll be the other good ending out of like the 7 or 8 total. But that's really all I've been playing. You ready to get into these rapid fire topics, man?
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it. Okay. Where is the dude? There. Okay, here are our topics. Rapid fire topic number 1. Pow, 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 pow. EA's Respawn Entertainment and Bit Reactor are working on a single player turn-based tactics Star Wars game. It'll be revealed. Wait a minute, hold up. I wrote this on Thursday. This is supposed to get revealed today. I ain't seen it. Damn, I'm so busy. I bought a car today, so I was in a dealership for like half the day. And
that's usually how it goes on a.
Yeah, so I did not. Okay, look. So apparently that's the story. But apparently was revealed today. I wish that's my bad. I should have double checked this. But regardless, here is essentially a turn-based tactic Star Wars game that just gives me XCOM vibes. Forte, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I'm the same way. I forgot all about it when you sent the thing. I saw it, but for the most part, I think didn't we talk about something about a Star Wars last week? Wasn't it like rumored or something last week?
No, I don't think that was last week. I think if you're talking about another tactics kind of game.
Oh, that's what it was. It was just another tactics game we were talking about. It was the same thing, like an XCOM style.
Yeah, I think it was Rainbow Six. It was
that's
Ubisoft
what it was.
And Rainbow Six.
It was Rainbow Six. Yep, that's what it was.
I'm all for this stuff. The more games that give me that kind of style, I'm fine with. This is why I am like, begging Nintendo to make another Fire Emblem. Like, turn-based, over-the-top tactics style games. I love them. I'm always there for those kind of games. By the way, Showgunners is still fantastic, still super cheap. Buy it. It's on Steam. It's amazing. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Forte. Go ahead, man.
No. I was gonna say the same thing. I feel like games like we can never get enough of games like this, especially in IPs that are very well known to people, because I feel like these type of games don't get enough shine because it's normally intellectual properties that most people don't. I'm not gonna say most people don't know about, but it's like really niche when it comes to like the titles. That's why I thought things like when Gears of War did it, I thought that was like a good way of bringing more light to it, because the biggest game in the franchise, of course, is XCOM itself. And XCOM has a really good following, a nice size following, but getting more people into a genre like that to kind of see how the gameplay evolves and everything, I always thought is a really good idea. I like the fact that the dev system, like bringing people, naming characters and having them go on missions and stuff like that. I don't know how deep this game's going to go, just like I don't know how deep Rainbow's going to go into it, but I feel like these type of games can definitely be they could bring their own twist, especially a game like Star Wars, where it's across universes and different planets and different factions having wars against each other, and just the cat and mouse of the Republic versus the Empire and just things like that. I think the world itself would lend itself very, very well to something like this. Also, I think, giving a shout out to one of your favorite franchises, Dune, I think would be just as good in something like this. I just think a lot more people just know what the Star Wars name looks like, and that's why they're kind of starting there. But I think it's a lot of stuff you can do just on the diplomatic side of Star Wars inside of a game like this, on top of just the way that factions work across that type of game.
I think something that you said that's very key for me is that to have your own spin on it, not just do straight up XCOM. Like and some games, I see some games do a little different. Like shout out to KSante in the chat. He mentioned Gears Tactics, and Gears Tactics is a very good XCOM kind of tactics, over the top kind of game. I would say it was good. It didn't go too far from what you get from XCOM. And what I like, say, for example, I mentioned Showgunners earlier. Showgunners, you have like specific like characters with specific abilities in Showgunners that fit a particular role. Of course, like you have that in XCOM too. Like you'll have like the real fast units that they're designed for you to. They give you like 2 movement goes, ranges, so that you can get close to enemies and shotgun them, or you're basically hitting them with like close range weapons. But in Shogunners, there's like a unique ability that no one has, for specific characters, and it's like those kind of differences I really enjoy in those kind of games. There was another one I was thinking of that just so XCOM came out with Chimera Squad, which was like it was like a standalone kind of game. It was a much shorter experience than you would get from the other XCOM games, but Chimera Squad was very good because they kind of did a little bit of that too, where you would have specific abilities with some of your squad mates, and you had in Chimera Squad, there's some humans, there's some aliens, they all have like, I forgot what they call it in XCOM, where people get like the like paranormal abilities, but that whatever they call that. And so that would come out in very different ways depending on who you were using. It was just dope. And I think at this point now, when I've played and enjoyed so many of those games, I can't go back to just regular XCOM. Like I tried to play XCOM 2 a couple years ago, and it's an amazing game, but I was just like, this is too basic now. It's like playing like an old school first person shooter. It's just like it's been too much advancements for me to go back to that now. So I hope with the Rainbow Six one and the Star Wars one that they're definitely trying to do their own twist on them that will really have them stand out compared to the others. I just want more Fire Emblem, at least for me. People in the chat talking about some really good ones. Mutant Year Zero was very good. That was a very good one. I actually might go play. Matter of fact, that developer made a new game. I wouldn't call it new. It came out a few years ago. That is kind of like that as kind of like Mutant Year Zero as well. I just can't remember the name of it, but it'll come back to me regardless. Glad that we're getting more than just the typical games that you would think from Star Wars in that IP. Anything else you want to say on this before we move on? Forte?
Oh, I just did this. Go on to the next one.
Okay. I don't know. This should have been I made this. I thought this was a little minor, so I made it a rapid fire topic, but
it is going to turn into a big one.
It might. PlayStation Plus pricing is increasing in Europe and Asia. Some regions are experiencing an increase up to 33%. Some people are not happy about this, despite Sony adding some quality titles into the service very recently. If you have PlayStation Plus, even if you just have, what's the common one, the basic one? What is it? Essentials?
Oh, Essentials,
right?
yeah, Extra and Premium.
Right, like they've been adding some games into Essentials. Like I was able to play Dragon Age Veilguard again. Through PS Plus Essentials, and I think they had a couple of other games recently. I can't remember off the top of my head that were some kind of pretty high profile games. So
that's
maybe if you want to say they added these games in to kind of bolster the service, but right before they drop an increase. I mean, you could say that, although the increase has not hit the United States. Will it? Don't know. We'll see. I'm leaning more towards it probably will. But Forte, what are your thoughts on the PlayStation Plus pricing increase?
You broke up again. Say that one more time.
Oh, you couldn't hear me?
No, you just broke up
What are your
again.
thoughts? Oh, what are your thoughts on the
Oh.
PlayStation Plus pricing increase?
You know, let's be real here. Be real here. It didn't go up in America.
How else can we be?
Well, that's true. Did it go up in America?
No, not yet. No.
Why you think it didn't go up in America?
Because
why does everything happen last in America?
I think the last time they did a price increase, they did it in other countries before they did it into the United States. And I think Microsoft did as well. So it seems like they always like test bed these things in other regions before they do it here.
Because they don't want to crap in the bed that they sleep in, meaning they don't want to crap in the bed that gives them all their money just yet. So at some point they're going to hit up America. America's going to happen. But they want to get to the point where it is. I think it's just more of it's less people to complain about it when you do it in other territories. Not saying that people in other territories don't have a voice.
I mean, they do pretty good in Europe. I mean, like I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
I mean, that's their second biggest territory outside the United States, and then third, I think, is Japan or Asia. I think Europe is their biggest, though. Their second biggest. So no, it's a big place. I mean, you know, when you compare it to like Xbox's footprint, it's drastically bigger. It's just, I just never understood like why just do a rollout like this. I mean, I understand why they're doing it because they don't want to piss off everybody at the same time. And if you piss off America, it seems like everybody kind of follows suit, and just the more people are just more vocal about it initially, and then that's when you kind of see things get rolled back. So I think this is just their way of slow playing it until they hit everybody else up. We already know these services are going to end up being, you know, $25 to $30 a month. Right now, think about it. Right now, you can get the essential plan for PlayStation still. I think it's $25 still for the 3 months if you do it directly through the system. If you do it like through other means, I think it's 30. So you do get a discount on it if you do it through the system itself, which is cool. But all of this stuff's about to go up. I mean, digital goods and services, people think that, you know, you're saving money by buying everything, you know, through PlayStation directly, like the games. The same thing with Xbox. And Nintendo, but what you're really doing is just giving them more power to just kind of screw you in the end. Because if you're buying everything through them and you're depending on them to be able to supply you or supplement you with the things you need, then they can kind of charge you whatever they want to, and that's like the complete opposite of a free market. And that's kind of where they're pushing everything. So the fact that you can't even buy any PlayStation Essential Plus or anything nowhere else except for their platform. You could buy the currency in other places, but guess what? That currency can only be spent on a console or on a PlayStation website, which still is the same thing as a console. So they know what they're doing. They know how they're slowly but surely just converting everybody over to the ecosystem they want them to be a part of, which is their own ecosystem, which I 100% understand. But it's just going to get worse as time goes on. I wouldn't be surprised at some point where, you know, a 3-month membership in Essential is going to probably cost people $40, $35 to $40 at some point. No time soon, but probably by the time the PS6 comes out, I can see that being.
How often do you think people do a 3-month thing outside of just the year?
Oh, I think compared to because I think most people go. I think most people are month to month. I think most are month to month, like $10 a month. I think most of them are. I think the next best one is the 3-month compared to the year. You think that's the case across the board or just for PlayStation? Oh, across the board. I think I think for the most part, when it comes to any, and like I said, no one knows, don't have any information on that, but just knowing people's buying habits or their spending habits, most people forget that they even have, like, think about it. I remember I told you for a long time I forgot I was paying for PlayStation Plus monthly. Like I had one account that literally was up to date. It had like almost a year and a half to 2 years on it. And then I had my daughter's account that she hadn't played in like 7 or 8 months. And I was paying monthly for it. And I just went to my, when you just every once in a while you go look at your account, like, where's this extra $10 or this extra $11 coming from? And then you go looking and researching it. And I'm like, my God, I am paying for this monthly. It didn't even know it because I forgot all about it. And that's what a lot of people are doing. Even knowing it is cheaper for them to go and spend, essentially you're saving $5 if you do instead of doing the month. But people rather go month to month because guess what? It's cheaper at the time that they're doing it versus giving more money up front. And then the only time they usually get, and this is kind of how shopping works with holidays, people are willing to spend and get the yearly memberships during like gift giving season, like if it's a birthday or something like that, or if it's a holiday, somebody else is most likely going to buy it for them versus the person that's going to be getting a year for themselves. They're just going to buy it themselves for the most part. But most kids or moms or dads, they're just going to say, oh yeah, they could just do monthly and it comes off the card and I don't miss $10 a month versus missing $30 right now. And it's kind of crazy the psychologic around that. But I do think most people pay month to month for the most part. Just like think about Game Pass. There's not even a yearly option for Game Pass. You can only do 3 months. The only reason people right now are on these elongated plans for like 3 years is because they were allowing you to do the 12-month Xbox Live conversion and people were converting that over to Game Pass. And that's why people got all these years and stuff. But right now, the only thing you can do, because even if you did a year of Xbox Live or Xbox Core and converted that, you're only getting 1 month for every 3. So you're only getting 4 months for a year now, which is crazy, but that's kind of how it is now. So most people, like I said, are just, most people on Game Pass, I feel like are paying month to month. Maybe the Nintendo people aren't because they have a really good
but Nintendo it's $20 at least it's like $20-$30
well, theirs
for
is
a
like
year.
Theirs is like $7 for 1 month, but then it's like $20 for a year. So anybody that's doing the Nintendo one, they're just doing the year. Right, they're just going to do the year for $20. So they're like the only one I can think of in the top of my head is doing it that way.
I think it's not even worth that, honestly. Like I can't think of anything
that Nintendo does that's worth it.
Yeah, I have the Nintendo. What do they call it? The Nintendo. Whatever the subscription services. I have it.
It's called Nintendo Online is what it's called. Unless you do the family one. I cannot recall
a single time I have used it.
You never used it for any of the retro games?
No.
It's actually cool for that.
I think I need to use it. I'm not even 100% certain, but I feel like I need to use it in order to make sure let my kids share my games, like the digital ones that I have. Which that's going to be different once the Switch 2 rolls out because they gotta instead of making things better, Nintendo always like removes freedoms whenever they come up with like concrete plans for stuff. So
so K Asante said he's still stacking. From time to time he'll get 3-month Game Pass Ultimate cards for $25. Yeah, see now that's smart because if you're waiting, if you're patient, you could get Game Pass Ultimate for $25 for 3 months versus $44 is what or $45 is what it costs if you don't wait. So there's always deals out there, but that's the thing though. Most people when they're buying them, they don't even think about going back and getting the deal later on unless they just happen to walk into a store on a day that is on sale and they just happen to need it. You know what I mean? So most people are just saying, I'm just going to sign up for it and I'm just going to let that thing ride until I notice that I don't use it anymore, which in most cases, we already know the psychology around subscription services. There's people out there paying for Netflix and they probably ain't looked at Netflix or Hulu for like 7 months and they've been paying for it. We already know that's how that kind of works. But until they actually do something about it by like looking at their statements and saying, dang, I'm paying $23 for Netflix, I forgot about that. And then they'll cancel it, or they'll just happen to walk into a place and say, oh, we got a sale on this, or we got a deal on this. And they'll be like, oh, you know what? I am paying for that. You know what? Matter of fact, let me get that so I can not pay for as much as I'm paying for it for like the next year. And then they'll put themselves in a situation to do that. But that's kind of how it goes. But the pricing thing is crazy. It's going to get more than this. It's across the board. Everybody's going to go up in price. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo's online service goes up in price, because guess what? They're bringing more third parties into the fold, and those servers aren't going to be free. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo online goes up at some point during the Switch 2 generation too.
Oh yeah, I expect it to. And we're going to definitely talk about that. That's the topic for later in regards to Nintendo's pricing with some of the things that we see that have already gone up, despite the system not even being out yet. So
right, right. The system not even out, right?
But next rapid fire topic.
I'm gonna get some bullet. What's the names?
I'm telling you, I'm getting that Harlem Nights clip where Arsenio Hall and his two guys shooting at Eddie Murphy. I'm putting that in there. There's going to be a bumper between each one. I just got to stop being, I just got to actually get the time to do it. It's been a rough 3 weeks for me. So bear with me. Anyway, third topic, Ubisoft is developing a new battle royale.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry for laughing. Inspired by Apex Legends, called Project Scout. And Project Scout has been in development for a couple of years now. Their goal is to capitalize on the player counts for Apex dropping and to potentially steal dissatisfied Battle Royale players from other games. That's the idea. Forte, what are your thoughts on Ubisoft deciding that this battle royale, doing a battle royale in 2025 is the move? What do you think about that?
They haven't learned from past mistakes already. Oh my God. Isn't Ubisoft financially in trouble?
Yes, they are.
So
maybe a little bit more stable now that Tencent's got a little bit more skin in the game, but not out of the woods by any.
They're trying to turn the whole company over to Tencent basically with this move. Because I'm thinking about it to myself, and I'm sitting there like, stick with what you're good at. Like at a certain point, I'm trying to think. You haven't came out with a successful live service game that's not Rainbow Six. Like, well, I won't say not successful because that's being disrespectful to the Division. Division was a really good. That's being disrespectful to the Division. The Division was a great game.
And they got a new expansion coming out.
Yep.
Coming out. Did they do the date? I think it's May. Actually, no. Next week, there will be a live stream to talk about the date for the new expansion for Division 2, Battle for Brooklyn.
Battle for Brooklyn, yeah. But I just feel like...
Oh, okay, all right. Game Logic, I wouldn't say Skull and Bones is successful. Yeah, game. But I think Riders Republic was moderately successful, right? That's the bike one, right?
That game... but they get that... Okay, unless they just decided that game needed to be something free at a later date because they couldn't sell it to people. Because that game was like $12, not even 2 months or 3 months after release.
Well, to be fair, Ubisoft games go on sale pretty quickly for the most part.
Yeah, but not giving it away. Not that cheap. I mean, Rainbow Six was still going for like $30.
Dorian Gray says I think you have to at least admit Ubisoft has more than just Rainbow Six Siege as a successful live service game.
Okay.
The thing is that they put too much. I think they put
is it still at that count? When I say successful live service, I mean, is it still something that people in the okay, like Rainbow? People still play Rainbow. There's still a lot of people that play Rainbow. A lot.
Right. Yeah, and Rainbow's at a different level.
Yes.
But I think the amount of developers they have working on For Honor is enough to justify where the player base currently is right now. For example, like with X Defiant actually had like 250,000 people still playing the game concurrently when they decided to end it. But the problem with X Defiant and why that wasn't good enough for them is that they had like 5 development teams running, working on the game. That number of people just wasn't enough. And I think, and we talked about this before when it comes to Ubisoft, a lot of their issues are due to how many development teams they have, like the manpower it takes for them to make games. And their process is very well done where, they have development teams all over the world. They're constantly working on these games in a way that doesn't require an extreme amount of crunch for every single team. And, like the Division 3 is in full development, and if it doesn't get canceled because of all the other, Ubisoft stuff going on, if it doesn't get canceled, it's probably going to come out in like 2027. And you would be wondering, like, how could Massive Entertainment, who just dropped in within a year span, drop Avatar, a AAA game, and Star Wars Outlaws, another AAA game? How are they able to do that? Well, Massive Entertainment is like 1,000 developers.
Yep.
And they don't do it alone. Most of these AAA studios aren't doing it alone anyway. They got support studios, but Ubisoft got support studios on support studios. Like when they made the Division 1, they made the Division 1 with 6 different studios that they all own. And so, and I think that's the big thing, is that they own all these studios, whereas other developers who make AAA games, they will outsource the support work to a studio that they trust, but they don't quite really own that studio. For example, with Halo and 343 and they work with Certain Affinity. They don't own Certain Affinity, but they can run the way Certain Affinity works with the Halo franchise with Microsoft and 343 is no different than how Ubisoft Budapest and Ubisoft Singapore work with, on Assassin's Creed. They do the same things. It's just that Ubisoft actually owns these studios and therefore has to deal with medical benefits, salaries, all that other stuff that comes with ownership of a company. And so I think that's what it really kind of comes down to with that. But to get back to the point, they have success. Now, I'm not saying Hyperscape was successful. It was not. That game bombed. It was trash. But they have other successful ones. But when they choose to cancel a game, there's some games out there that wish they could have 250,000 developers.
That's true.
Working on the game. And they can't. They can't get those kind of numbers, but that just wasn't enough for Ubisoft. Give me 1 second, as my daughter is staring at me for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think in general, games as a service is hard. I mean, it's a lot of us in this chat in the podcast right now. As much as Gregor like to give me crap, shout out to him. We've been playing Destiny. Well, not so much me over the last year, but I know a lot of us played Destiny for years on top of years, and it takes first of all, it takes a very special individual to want to play the same game for that long, but it also takes a very special game that kind of encapsulate everything that you want out of experiences to make you kind of just live in that world. And I just don't think Ubisoft, I'm not saying they can't do it. I just find it very unlikely that they can like have something like really stick like that. And I feel like the reason games like For Honor, because I thought that was an amazing, great game. I think it was very unique to what it was. It wasn't trying to be anything else. And I think they got as much as they're going to get out of that IP when it comes to that. I mean, if they can like bring something else out that can iterate on it more, that would be awesome. I think Ghost Recon, the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon series, I always thought that could kind of work inside of a live service environment, but it just really looked like just when it comes to like Tom Clancy, they're just sticking to the Rainbow Six side of it, which is fine. So I think they have IPs they can do it with. I just think that I just don't have a lot of hope that they can.
I would say this though,
consistently keep up with it.
The pros of the approach they're taking is, you look at Marvel Rivals, for example. They're doing what NetEase did with Marvel Rivals to Overwatch. Overwatch had really, in a way, disrespected the Overwatch community. They promised them PvE content and didn't deliver. They turned Overwatch into a sequel for no reason. Overwatch 2 visually didn't look any different than Overwatch 1. It was essentially like, if that was a content update, it would have been a terrible content update because all they did was add 3 maps and 3 characters. Nothing else changed, and they took away 6v6. People were justifiably upset. And they did all that with a promise to add in PvE content that was supposed to come. And then 6 months after the launch of Overwatch 2, I say launch in quotation marks because it was just the same damn game, they canceled the PvE content. So what was it all for? So, developers and publishers do things like that when they get comfortable. And they feel like, well, we've been enjoying a certain level of attention from this community, and we've messed up before, and it didn't result in any kind of consequences or repercussions that severely hurt us. Sure, numbers are a bit down compared to what they were before, but we're still good. And you fast forward to today, and I saw a statistic that said that like somewhere between 45 to 50% of Overwatch's community is now playing Marvel Rivals 2. So not Marvel Rivals, not Marvel Rivals 2 is
I know what you mean.
Probably never will be out. But the point is that like NetEase saw a moment of weakness, a large moment of weakness for a number of years because games take a long time to make. And what they made was a game that pretty much is like Overwatch, except it's in third-person perspective, and it's got really, really popular characters that everyone loves to play as. And this worked. And so there is a way to make it work. But you could also say that Marvel Rivals is somewhat of an outlier. Because unless Ubisoft is going to license a very, very popular IP, you're not going to get the kind of attention that you need in order to be all that successful. Like, of course, Marvel Rivals plays well, and that's why people have stuck with it. But just playing well isn't enough. Like, we've seen live service games that play well that don't survive because it just, they didn't have the marketing budget. They didn't have enough bodies to deal with cheaters and iterate on make new content, so on and so forth. That's not really like what really overall gives you that staying power. I don't know if Ubisoft has what it takes to kind of capitalize on the weakness that EA and Respawn have with Apex Legends right now. You want to make Apex Legends inspired battle royale at a time where no one's making new battle royales, because people have learned if you ain't got a popular, sustainable battle royale right now, you ain't gonna get one. That's the mindset. you're going to make one now in 2025 to try to capitalize on people no longer playing Apex Legends. What if people are no longer playing Apex Legends just because they're tired of Battle Royale? They're tired of this specific kind of Battle Royale where you got like special, almost like hero shooter kind of characters. Like, if they're just tired of that, like, I don't know if Ubisoft can be able to pull this off, essentially. So we'll see what happens. Apparently it's supposed to come out pretty soon. I mean, it's been in development for a couple of years now, so we'll see what happens. Or if we get a report months from now that this gets canceled, which a lot of these kind of live service games that Ubisoft works on end up canceled. Like, remember the Ghost Recon Battle Royale they were working on?
I do.
That got canceled. They actually showed us a trailer of that trash. Everybody was like, nah, we don't want this.
They actually showed us the trailer of that trash.
Yeah, like that game got canceled too. I played a Ubisoft game. I think I could talk. I'm not going to say that. I don't even think it had a name. It just had a project and a letter. This was like maybe a year or two ago. It was a very interesting concept. It was essentially, it was all PvE, but it was a live service game where it was essentially like an army. You and 100 other players would drop onto this battlefield, and you would be in squads, but your objective was to take down zones and bosses in those zones as you progressively made it closer and closer into the center. And you did have a circle, so it was somewhat battle royale-ish, where you had a circle that was also kind of speeding the process up, but you needed like a ton of players in there because these bosses were bullet sponges, but you would all kind of like team up and you would deal with like other little NPC enemies all throughout the map. But when you died, unless you had a teammate to pick you up, you were done. And so it was a really interesting concept, but I haven't heard anything from it since then. And I feel like it probably got canceled. This is the kind of stuff that outside of that new subsidiary that they got, this is the kind of stuff that you're getting from Ubisoft now, where it's just like ideas of things that try to capitalize on live service in general, but it doesn't always seem to work. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but Miko, that's it. That is the name. Project Q. Yeah. That is the name of it. It was all right. It wasn't a bad playing game. It's just I thought the idea was a little. They needed more. You know, like it was like seems like something that people would get tired of very quickly, unless you have ways to kind of keep things more dynamic than they were, and. Yeah, man. But good luck to Ubisoft. I don't think this is going to work, but I'll be glad to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Anything else? Let's move on. You ready to move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Next rapid fire topic. Oh, you gonna love this one.
Oh Lord, let's go.
It's only gonna get 2 pops. Pop. Destiny 2. Is dropping a new update.
Yes, they are.
Which will be revealed on May 6th, called The Edge of Fate. That's all I got, because I don't know anything else. Forte, you're a Destiny crackhead. Is there anything else you know about this?
You want to know the honest to God truth on that?
Sure.
So, one of my associates told me about it because I just wasn't paying attention. I'm just not plugged into Destiny like that anymore.
Oh wow, I knew this before you did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. When I saw you post it, I was like, oh yeah. But then my associate told me about it. He still plays a little bit, and I was like, really? And I was like, so there's a new expansion. I said it's coming out in June because they're doing a reveal in May. I think May 12th. And then I was like, okay. So that means it's coming out in June. No,
it's May 6th.
Oh, May 6th. Yeah, right. May 6th.
Yeah.
That definitely lets you know that it completely detached from it. So I was like, it comes out May 6th, or they're doing the reveal. That means it's going to probably come out in June. meaning it's probably going to be a new seasonal DLC. Because he was like, no, I think it's going to be part of the DLC, the season we are. I'm a part of the expansion we bought when it came to not Lightfall. Good God, what was the name of the last expansion?
I know you ain't asking me. Ain't no way.
I'm trying. What's the name?
Ain't no way you asking me.
What's the name of the last expansion? Oh my God!
Look,
it's okay. Whatever
Lightfall.
It's not. Nightfall was the one before. The final shape.
The
shape.
shapes. Yeah,
final
shapes.
shape.
You know, colors.
Oh my
circles,
God! Oh my God!
Triangles.
That just lets you know how far I'm out of this. Oh yeah, the circles. Final shape. So this is probably going to be another season thing. So this will be the main DLC. Then there will be expansions tied to this. And I'm just expecting this thing to cost $50 for the regular version, then $100 if you want the whole season, which I refuse to do because guess what? I haven't played Destiny in any real capacity in like 9 months since.
Good for you.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, as much as it's something that interests me, and I did hear that the story, I heard they've been like really, really killing it in the story. Like every once in a while I'll jump in just to do a little thing, but then I start playing the game and then I'm like, yeah, PTSD, don't want to do this anymore. And then I'm just kind of against it a little bit due to the fact that I paid for the whole season, like the main DLC with all of the expansions, when I told myself, Forte, just buy the expansion, because when you're done with the DLC, you're not going to play anything else. And of course, I didn't play anything else. So I just don't really see the ROI on it. Now that could change when I am going to watch the stream just to see what's going on. But as of right now, I just don't.
I'm gonna be fair. I said that, X Defiant had numbers that other developers wish they had. I would say the same for Destiny, even though it is definitely in its twilight. Like it's definitely in the old folks' home, and the family is whispering about what to do with the finances, whose power of attorney when it finally passes, right? But it's still got numbers that other live service games wish they had. So I can understand why you still do an expansion. Clearly it's a smaller affair than what they used to do, right? But it's still, it's all about having a good balance of the number of people that are making the content, good content that the community that you have can find acceptable and fun to play, and being able to stay in the black, because that's something that Bungie has struggled to do in the past. I think their way of game development, post-launch consistent game development just wasn't sustainable, which is the reason why they kept needing a publisher. Tried to go independent, couldn't go independent, needed to be sold to Sony. It's all because the way of doing things has nothing to do with the level of quality. Because although inconsistent, where they'll have a great expansion and then a subpar expansion, it's not really about that. It's about the fact that, like, here is an older game that at this point in time is going to have. Hold up, I think I lost this screen.
Look, it's still playing for me.
Okay, we're back. It wasn't OBS. It was YouTube that
YouTube.
It dropped for a moment and then it came back. Okay. All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me well.
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear this?
What did you just bang on your keyboard?
No.
What was that?
What do you think it was?
It sounded like you banging on your keyboard. What are you doing? Whatever that is, stop doing it. Please stop.
It sounds like you're banging on you.
I have no idea what that was.
Definitely not be banging on my.
It was like, can you hear this? And it's just like, I just hear keys flying. It's just like I'm imagining keys flying in the air. Like, what is happening right now?
Definitely not key. Go ahead.
So
That's
to my point
not
is,
a good sound effect. I'm gonna have to change that if that's what it sounds like.
they've done a ton of layoffs. Bungie's a smaller, like, they're not like a tiny developer, but they're much smaller than what they used to be. Maybe now they're at a point now where the amount of people that are working on Destiny 2 is sustainable. Like they generate enough revenue to not just have it be sustainable, like, well, we can keep the lights on, but you're actually making a profit. Because if you're not making a profit, we know how Sony gonna feel about it. Why are we doing it? Get rid of it. Take those resources, put them on something that will make us some money. Not basically just a cycle of we make enough to keep doing this. You know, you want to do more than that. Like, you know, on the consumer side of things, we don't care. Give me the content and I'll play it. If it's great, I'll keep playing it. I don't care if you make money or not. But the reality of it is you got to make a lot of money, and you need to make a significant amount of money in order to kind of justify the amount of resources being put there, and that the resources there should be there and not somewhere else. And so I say all that to say that hopefully for them, you know, and for any chance of having a Destiny 3 one day, that where they're at right now is good for them in the long run. That's all I got. Anything else you want to say on it?
Oh no, that's it, man.
Okay. Cool. All right, so where are we at? Three more rapid fires. Good grief.
Oh, wait, you said two more? Hold on. You said, dang, you had a lot.
Three.
Oh, here you go. Wait, you go here.
Don't know. No. What is that, man? Is that supposed to be a gunshot?
It's supposed to be. What does it say? What does it sound like?
I told you what it sounds like. A gunshot is not what that is. Anyway. Gregor said, is that a nail gun? Is it a BB gun? What are you shooting? So.
Okay, go ahead.
So Nvidia has launched an 8GB VRAM 5060 Ti in the year of 2025. And then all I have here, I wrote "kill it with fire." That's all I wrote on in regards to that. Yeah, just 8GB of VRAM is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form for a GPU in this day of time. And the fact that Nvidia still tried it just shows how freaking arrogant they are. Just like, are you? Wow. So, any thoughts on that, Forte?
Nah, who cares? It is pretty. So is there like a release date on this?
It came out already, I think.
Oh, it already came out. Oh,
well, you know, Nvidia ain't doing nothing but paper launches right now, so that's out.
True. It's out, but
unofficially.
It ain't out.
Whether you can actually find one in the wild is like a whole different story. Like, you know, it's difficult to find their GPUs when they don't make enough.
You know what was funny? I was watching Sci-Fi Gaming. And he was doing he was basically doing a review on, not a review, but talking about building a brand new PC versus paying $6,000 for the new MacBook Studio. And he was like, you know what? I got this PC, and he was talking about, it was a sponsorship for the new AMD, the 990 or the 990X 3D. And
9070 X
9900X Yeah, the AMD 9900 X3D.
Oh, you mean CPU? Oh, you mean
Yeah, the
CPU?
CPU, yeah,
My
the
bad.
CPU.
I'm not allowed to think about
Yeah.
the GPU.
Well, yeah, because we were talking about GPU, that's why. But he did a review on that. And then he was breaking his PC apart to put the CPU in it, he pulled a 5090 out of the case, and he said, dang, this thing is heavy. And then he was like, nobody just spend. He was like, nobody just spend this much money on a 5090. But he said, but guess what? Ain't nobody spending this money on a 5090, because guess what? You can't find one because there's paper launches. I was like, oh my God, you just digged at them so hard, because listen, I swear to God, these GPU launches for them is just the most ridiculous thing in the world. It's like, I've never seen a company that will release something but make it so scarce that you can't even find it.
Because they don't care. They don't care. They're making so much more money
on the AI side of it.
Off a data center business.
Yep.
They do not care. They don't care if you can't find one, because all the silicon they can muster is going into data center products that they can charge like $8,000 for.
Mm-hmm.
So you being upset that you guys spend $2,500 on a 5090 means nothing to them. They don't care. Now, until the market can change, and I think a lot of what's happened in the market has severely affected Nvidia's business on that side of things. And so maybe Jensen, the CEO, was looking back at everything and like, maybe we shouldn't have been so nonchalant with the GPU gaming market. Maybe we should have, paid a bit more attention to that. But, I would say I saw something, shout out to the homie Floodzilla, who showed something that said that the 9070 XT has outsold the Nvidia equivalent by like 10 times the number.
Good God.
And I'm like, that's great, but like Nvidia don't got no stock. So it's like, you're really outselling the product that isn't even attempting to fight back. It's like, you played a basketball game against another team and the other team didn't show up, and you just, running plays with no defense. Well, you better be up 100-0. There's nobody stopping you. There's no defense going on. There's no opposition really. So I don't know. Like I think Nvidia just doesn't care at this point in time. And look, if they don't care, PC gamer, you shouldn't care either. Go buy the product that's best for you and your wallet and the availability that you have it. God forbid your GPU dies, your current GPU dies, and you need a new one. Well, if you're rocking an Nvidia GPU and you only want Nvidia, well, you're going to be kind of SOL, because they discontinued the 4000 series. The 5000 series can barely be found. Yeah, it's you better just go with AMD. Yeah. Anyway, anything else you want to say on this? Oh man, K said 8K. You couldn't try 50K. I did not know it was like that. I thought I saw something that said it was like 8,000 a unit. Maybe is it 50K for like the total like price that some of these data centers are charging or getting charged? But like, man, that. Yeah, look, Nvidia don't care. You see why Nvidia don't care. Anything else you want to say on this before we move on?
No, man. Tell me how you really feel.
Rapid fire topic number.
I'm not even gonna play it.
5. Yeah, please don't. The worst kept secret ever. There's supposed to be an Elder Scrolls Oblivion remastered remake. I don't know which you want to call this. Which one of those has leaked. I mean, I've seen screenshots all over the internet. I mean, I feel like I played it already at this point, and I don't even have it. But shout out to Jeff Grubb, homie of the show. Jeff Grubb has been saying that this could be revealed as soon as next week. There's like a Microsoft support bot on Twitter just leaking everything. It's just people just asking, hey, support bot, when is this Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster coming out? Oh yeah, hey Billy, it's coming out on April 24th. I'm like, good God, I mean, hey, who tuned this thing? Who developed this bot? This bot telling everything. I should have just started asking the questions like, hey, so when does Halo go on the PlayStation? You know, whatever, right?
That'd have been a good one.
Right. So it's just it's pretty funny, but I mean, look, I I've never been a major Elder Scrolls fan, but I think this is pretty interesting that they're trying to leverage some of the older IP that they now own. And Oblivion is an interesting choice. I wouldn't say it's like the most popular of the Elder Scrolls games. Clearly, Skyrim is the most popular, and then people have fond memories of Morrowind. I don't know why. Oblivion, I never see anyone really talking about it.
Why?
I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. But I think it's Oblivion's always seems to be like the forgotten one, at least in my eyes. Like I just don't see too many people talking about it. Maybe that's why they decide to take this one and pretty it up and re-release it. Kind of an interesting week considering it's coming out the same week, if it does come out next week, the same week as Expedition 33, which I'm highly anticipating. I think a lot of people, at least tuned in gamers are really looking forward to that one. Forte, what are your thoughts on this secret, not so secret shadow drop or whatever the heck they're trying to do with this?
I mean, I saw the comparisons of everything. It's like the worst kept secret. We've known for a while. I was actually at work when I found out, and I called Attic. I called Attic. It's like, Attic, how do I find this out from one of my associates? You're supposed to keep me up to date with stuff. I'm just giving them crap. And then he's like, man, he said it just happened like an hour, like 20 minutes ago. I said, I know, I'm just messing with you. And then I started looking at all the screenshots, and I was like, okay. And I think, honestly, I think it's a good move due to the fact that a lot of people, I mean, that game's old. Like, it's like so old. Like it's early.
It's older than our kids.
Yes, it's like so old. What is it like? 2000, like 2006?
Let me find out. I don't remember.
It was early 360. I do know that. Because it was exclusive to the 360. But I think it's a good move.
Wow, exclusive. Remember when those were?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, there was a lot of games that were third party that were exclusive, and Xbox kind of forgot that. But no, I think it's a good move just to get
2006.
people.
2006.
Yeah, so it was literally a launch title for the
it was a timed exclusive. Came out for PlayStation in 2007. In 2007.
So, well, was it really a timed exclusive, or was it the fact that PlayStation just didn't release the 2007? That's
I would say. I mean, I don't know if it was a planned timed exclusive.
Timed exclusive, but
being like that.
Exclusive because it was a year difference between the systems releasing. The generation that Xbox let, whatever. But no, I do think it's a good move just to get it. It's old enough. I mean, it's about to be 20 years old next year. So I probably would have hoped to get more of a substantial update. A lot of people are like itching to like see what the next Elder Scrolls is going to be when it comes to 6. I thought this would have been a really, really good way to like bring people, back into the franchise. A lot of people probably would have loved to see an update done to Oblivion, like a fully redone version of Oblivion when it comes to like a complete remaster of it. Because that would kind of pave the way for them to do not only Oblivion, but maybe to do like a really substantial update to Skyrim outside of what's happening on PC with the mods. And it could kind of lead everybody into what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be. Because I think Elder Scrolls 6 is literally 10 years away. I don't think that game's nowhere near coming out anytime soon. Todd Howard will probably retire off that game when it finally happens.
I mean, he's kind of insinuated that's definitely going to be the case.
Yeah,
which I mean would make sense considering how long he's been
doing this. So
yeah,
it's kind of hyperbolic to say 10 years, but I just don't see that this decade. I don't see it before 2030. Especially with all the work that they put into Starfield, with knowing that there's still more stuff coming to Starfield in the future. I think that would just be something that they could actually lean into to get people, not acclimated with the franchise, but just get people back into it. I would play a proper redone version of Oblivion, and I guess we'll find out next week what this is, but part of me feels like it's just going to be more of just a frame rate boost, slight texture upgrades from the screenshots I saw, but nothing to the point where, what they did with Halo 3, like they didn't give it the anniversary treatment. They just gave it like slightly texture updates and stuff like that, not compared to what they did to Halo 1 and Halo 2, how those got anniversary updates where they redid the whole game. I think this is what I think you're going to get, the Halo 3 version of Oblivion, when it comes to, it's going to look better, it's going to run better, but it's going to be essentially the same game with just better textures and everything like that. And I guarantee they didn't rework the physics or anything in the game. So it's probably going to be a slog. Who knows? Hope I'm wrong. But I think a lot of people will probably would have been more excited if they actually did a proper remake to that game, due to the fact that the 20-year anniversary is coming up next year. And people just, and then people, like I said, people would just, I think you have a runway with that game, because if you did that for next year, you still have another 5 years until you can like make one for Skyrim, because Skyrim was 2011, so the 20-year anniversary would be 31. So it's enough time in between to kind of like redo all of the franchises in preparation. Maybe you do like a version of Skyrim a little bit earlier, because you're going to be releasing, Elder Scrolls 6 probably in 31 or 32, because I think that's about how far that game is out. They didn't even have concept art or anything for that game.
I think they may have done Oblivion this time, but I think the next time we see them bring back or redo
Morrowind or something.
No, I don't think it's going to be Elder Scrolls. I think Bethesda's going to do Fallout, because you got the TV show, which is super popular.
Yes, you're right.
And I think that kind of caught them off guard. I think they definitely would have wanted to pull a Sony where they got a game, or at least a re-release of a game at the same time as a very popular TV show.
Do you think that they will redo Fallout 1 and 2 to be not the RTSs strategy games they were?
That's too much work. So now you gotta like completely. That's a remake. You gotta completely redo that from scratch to kind of get it to be the kind of Fallout game that people think of in their minds. Fallout 3, New Vegas. So I think New Vegas and/or Fallout 3, and maybe you can say Fallout 4, but I would say probably Fallout 3 instead. Fallout 3 likely would be the one that they want to do that with, or New Vegas, considering that New Vegas is kind of like, as far as a lot of Fallout fans could look at that as the best one.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that they'll do that next instead of another Elder Scrolls, because just due to the TV show's popularity, it could very well be when that TV show ends, that as an IP to the casual audience and the casual gamer, Fallout's more popular than Elder Scrolls.
I agree.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say on this before we get to the last rapid fire topic?
Yeah, Todd Howard he's a GOAT, and he probably said something like,
"How you gonna shoot me in my pinky toe? I'm not playing with you. I will blow that little black, gnarled, crusty, dead motherfucker the fuck off. Now put the razor away."
Forte.
I know. Why you shoot my pinky? So you better put that.
Where in? I don't understand the context whatsoever. I thought you were about to pull out the gunshots thing. Instead,
No,
you pull
I
out
didn't.
the pinky toe thing.
Pinky toe.
Lord.
What? That's what Ty Harris say. You want me to show my pinky?
Shout out the Harlem Nights. Underrated, underrated,
So
underrated.
underrated. He's like, what
man.
you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. That's such a good movie. It's so underrated. But that's all I got.
Okay.
I mean,
Last
I could have
topic.
did the other one, but
No,
I
we
ain't
good. We good. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has released on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro this week. And a lot, I mean, it seems to have generated a lot of conversation. I don't know why. I don't know what the big deal is. It's just another game, right?
It's another game.
Of course not. So, Forte, have you seen any of the videos with the comparisons and whatnot?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
Concerned.
About?
What do you think?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, what I mean.
You said you were concerned.
I am concerned. Well, you weren't?
No.
Why not?
What are you concerned about? How about that? How about like you tell me what you're concerned about? I'll let you know if I agree, disagree, whatever.
Oh my God. No, I'm not concerned. I'm just talking. Oh shoot. I was actually messing with something when you asked me the question. I was trying to get you to tell me what, say it again. So I had to just say, I hear you.
Y'all see what I deal with. Y'all see what I deal with.
You didn't fall for it. So okay, ask the question again.
Because I've done this with you before. Okay,
I know.
And I can tell when you weren't paying attention, and I'm like, no, don't try to get me to feed you info.
No,
what were you concerned about?
I don't know, because I didn't hear what you had said, because I was changing something on my sound pad when you said it, and it just like went by me. So ask the question again, sir. I'm listening.
Indiana Jones on PlayStation.
That's what I thought.
Did you see any of the? You said you saw the videos. Were you just saying yes, or
yes? Because I didn't even know what you asked me, so I just said yes. Because I thought you was gonna like explain more, but then you didn't fall for it. I was like, damn it, he's gonna make me actually see. I didn't hear what he said. No, I did actually see the comparisons for Indiana Jones. And guess what? It should look better. It should run better. It's on a more powerful system, the PS5 Pro. Because that's what they showed it on. Like, I was like, what do you expect?
I mean, that's basically it. Like I expected it to run better.
Just like if they would have showed it running on a PC, I'd have been like, dang, that looks great. That frame rate looks incredible. Oh, it's PC gameplay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I never understood anybody that just like, okay, guess what? When they show Doom the Dark Ages, because we know that's coming to PS5 day and day, it is PS5. It is actually a PS5 Pro enhanced game. So when they showcase that game when they show the comparisons of it, SloMo, are you going to be shocked that the PS5 version of the game looks and runs better on a PS5 Pro? I don't think you will be, because guess what? It's supposed to run better. It's supposed to look better.
I'm gonna be shocked.
No, you're not.
Be shocked. I'm gonna tell you why I'm shocked.
You're gonna be shocked because of all the stupidity that's gonna be out here. People gonna be crying about something they shouldn't be crying about.
I'm gonna be shocked.
Okay, go ahead.
Microsoft would allow one of their own games to run better on a rival platform.
Why? It's a better system. It's a better system.
Look, if
That's
it
what
was me,
happens. That's
if
what
it was
happens.
me,
Oh, you would
I would
give it.
intentionally make sure. I don't care how much better the hardware is. We getting parity today,
But didn't you tell?
I'm gonna make sure it runs just like it does on my Xbox Series X. And when people go, well, wait a minute, this came out 4 years after that. I don't care.
But didn't you
Parity,
tell?
baby.
But didn't
Look,
you tell the
this is
committee
when you,
that you're not going to do things like this in GIMP games that's on another platform just because you own it?
They also told that same hearing that they cared about exclusive games. We saw how that turned out.
They also told people that they cared about consoles, and guess what? They've been telling people they don't care about consoles for 3 years. So there's a lot of double speak going on here.
I would not. I mean, look, I'm not shocked that they do this because they don't care about that platform, right? But
right.
If it was me, if I was in that position, I don't care how much overhead the PS5 Pro gives you. Oh, hey, SloMo, hey boss, we can add 10 extra frames with a higher dynamic resolution to the PS5 Pro version. I'm like, that sounds great.
But guess what, SloMo?
Hold on. You play that on the unreleased version in your own free time. On the version we releasing to the public, what's the Xbox Series X settings? Same thing.
Yeah.
I got a platform to sell. I can't have Digital Foundry out here saying, and let me do a cheerio. On the PS5 Pro, the PS5 Pro is running on an average 8% faster. My gosh, good man, 8% faster. With a higher resolution. Why the heck were you? Why? Well, I know they don't care, right? But if I'm running the platform, I freaking care.
But you wouldn't even be in this situation, SloMo, if you ran the platform because it wouldn't be games on PS5.
Also true.
So you wouldn't even be in this conversation would be non-mute if this was the case.
I mean, you got me. I just wanted to do my terrible British accent. That's all. I just wanted to eventually get to that.
Fine. You're fine, and I get it, and I understand. But it's like a bunch of weird. And shout out to Brian E saying, what's funny are the people who are silently saying that the Pro isn't a big upgrade while not at all being surprised that the games will look way better on it. And he ain't lying there, because there is a lot of frauding out there. Like people sitting there is like, oh, it's not a big upgrade. Then they get upset that the games look better on there. I was like, which one is it? Which one is it? Because guess what? I tell people all the time, I didn't buy a PS5 Pro, not because it wasn't more powerful. It wasn't what I felt like a PS5 upgrade should be in order for me to spend $200 more. That was for me. But I can 100% tell you it's better than the Series X. It's more powerful than the Series X. It's got better features than it. Well, I ain't gonna say better features, but it has certain things that's better than a Series X. So it's a better console, meaning the games are gonna look and run better on it, even if it's a minuscule difference. It still looks and runs better.
They don't have to though.
Well, listen, if you're on a PlayStation, shout out to you because you get everybody's games. Well, everybody but Nintendo. Everybody but Nintendo's games. And Nintendo's about to move into second place as the second most popular. Well, it's already the second most popular. It might be the most popular. PlayStation might be behind them. But no, man, it's just real interesting. But I did see the gameplay. It looked really, really good. And guess what? I expected it to look like that because it looked really good on an Xbox. It looked really good on the Xbox Series S. So it looks good on a PC. So I would think it's going to look good on the PS5. And guess what? It's going to be even worse. You think people are talking now? Doom the Dark Ages is a day and date game on PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X and PC, by the way. So what's going to happen on? So you think right now, a lot of people aren't really thinking about it. And guess what? People are going to be like, you think people crying right now about it. Wait till you see it happen at the same time. This game, the Indiana Jones came out in January, bro, for Xbox. So most people don't even care about it anymore. They're like, oh man, the game's been out. Let PlayStation have it. Wait till you get a first party game that launches everywhere day and day. It's going to be on Switch too. It's going to be on the Switch when it comes out too, day and day. So it's just gonna be wild to see when that game happens. Because guess what? They're gonna be like, Digital Foundry gonna go out there with the tester, with it gonna be like, you do the Dark Ages, you know, like the tessellation and the frame rates look incredible. You're gonna see the anti-aliasing gonna be looking really good. Oh, you know what? This it runs at an uncapped frame rate on PC, and it's closely rivaled by the PS5 Pro.
No. See, you gotta do it. You know, it's Digital Foundry. You gotta do it in the British accent.
The British accent. Yeah.
So, cheers, mate.
Oh
we're here back, and we are doing the Doom, the Dark Ages, and I'm positively gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked with the visuals of the PS5 Pro compared to the Xbox Series X. Good gosh, this is just rubbish that Microsoft will allow this to happen. It's bloody ridiculous. It's just higher frame rates, better ray tracing. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a little bit dodgy on the DualSense features, but I'm sure with an update they'll get that there. It's perfect. That was perfect. Xbox Series S is it's a terrible bloke. I wanted to take it into the loo. Just throw it right in the loo, flush it down. But it's we're back here and we're loving what they did with the PS5 Pro implementation. Absolutely great, Microsoft. Good for you. Like that's going to be, I would say somewhere in that range of what to expect, right?
Right.
And I just don't think if you care about your hardware whatsoever, if you care about your hardware whatsoever, you don't do that. I mean, you're putting your games over there. Look, if Satya Nadella is like, hey, SloMo, I don't care how you feel about this. You're putting your games on PlayStation. I'm like, all right, bet.
So you go quit SloMo? I'm gonna go quit.
No, I'm gonna put them on there, and it's gonna be parity across the board. What do you care if the PS5 Pro runs it better? What do you care?
What do you care?
You told me, Sati, to put it on PlayStation. I put it on PlayStation, and I made sure it's not better than the Xbox Series X version. If the fanboys get upset about it, well, so what? I don't care.
PlayStation
I don't care, y'all mad.
PlayStation says they don't want your game unless you do PlayStation enhanced games, PlayStation 5 enhanced games for Pro. What you gonna go back and tell Saudi then?
I'm gonna implement DualSense features, and I'm gonna say this is the you get more with the DualSense features than on a regular Xbox controller. Therefore, it's enhanced. Bam.
No, but isn't 60 frames per second and 4K 60 frames per second? Doesn't one of the major points have to be hit to be enhanced, like either 60 frames, 4K native, something? Have to be.
Hey, look, I'm gonna make sure the Xbox Series X version got 60 frames. I'm gonna make sure the PlayStation version got 60 frames, and then I'm gonna make sure the regular PlayStation version does not have 60 frames. It's somewhere in there, like a 45 to 50 range, and say, hey, look, you're getting a solid frame rate on the PS5 Pro enhanced. There you go. Look, this is how you handle it, man. But instead, it feels just like, kumbaya. Hey, we're gonna do our absolute best to make sure this version is the best version. Have you also seen they've been marketing it like a lot more marketing on the PlayStation side for these PlayStation games than the Xbox ones? I mean, it just seems like the marketing budget just opened up out of nowhere. It's crazy.
No, Ryan Land, you are absolutely correct. SloMo would literally be the person that won't give them the full game on the disc either. Say our game is 260 gigs on the PlayStation and it's only 120 on Xbox. And guess what?
Be glad I'm giving you the game.
It's gonna eat at your space.
I don't even want to give you that.
Shout out to Soil Tech with the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Yoshi out.
Thank you, Yoshi. Appreciate you. All right, we are into the topics that matter. Like Forte say that some jobs don't matter. These are the topics that do matter. Okay, so we're ready to get into that.
We literally did an hour. Well, we did almost 2 hours in rapid fire. You always do this. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then not rapid fire. We gotta call those musket fire topics because it's just you shoot it, then you gotta take that metal rod, and then you gotta like pull out the gunpowder and stuff it in there. Then you take the rod and jam like that all in there.
This is more like a trebuchet. It takes a long time to reload it.
Right. It's like the Civil War where you would shoot at someone and then it take you like 5 hours to get another shot off. That's why the battles took so long. They would just, if you didn't hit anyone, there's going to be a minute before you could even reload. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
what he did, like dialing on the what they say on the in what's name and he was like dialing on the clock. He was like the rotary. He's like 1, 2. Oh man, I messed up. 4. That was Lethal Weapon, if I remember.
Oh man.
We in rare form today. You sure you don't want to do the show for Saturday nights?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We are
Xbox game streaming on console. So now apparently, you can now stream Xbox games. Even I think Xbox PC versions of games too on an Xbox console. In addition to that, you can now buy games directly from the Xbox mobile app, which is something that you weren't able to do prior. You can play any game that you have installed on your Xbox console through any device that has a supported web browser. So that could be your trash old laptop. It could be your phone. It could be, I don't know, man. It could be your kid's play school fake laptop device or something. I don't know. Microsoft Surface, any of these devices, if it's got a supported web browser, it can play it. My question is, Forte, do we care? Do you care? I don't know.
Nope.
Does anyone care about this?
Who streams? Who streams their video games? I know SloMo does every once in a while, but that's only when he's like
on vacation,
drinking a Tahiti on a vacation, or a mojito or a mimosa, sitting on somebody's beach with AC that doesn't work and he has to go buy fans. But that's
only happened once. Once.
But I remember you told me you bought like 6 fans.
Yeah, I was so mad. It was so hot in the house, man. It was just ridiculous, bro.
This man had to buy 6 fans. He's like, dog, it's so hot in here. And then they didn't fix it until like the day before you left.
No. They fixed it the next day. So
next day.
Or it was the day after. So we were there for a week. I think they fixed it like it was the next day in the evening is when they fixed it.
Which felt like 2 days in that heat.
Right. You know how like when it's hot and it's like, it doesn't matter if you have fans, it's just pushing hot air just pushing the hot air
It's
around
like
the room.
somebody just breathing hot air on you.
Yeah, it was like that, man. We just decided to just go out and do stuff and try to stay out of the house.
In very ventilated places.
Yeah, but at night, I mean, it's just like you wouldn't
even
have
sleep.
Not the point.
Yeah, it's not the point. But no, no
what
one.
we talking about? What we talking? Okay, yes.
We're talking about game streaming. No one cares.
And when I use game streaming, I'm using GeForce Now. And so, like, for the most part, GeForce Now, and I know the implementation of how they both do Xbox and PlayStation Nvidia do cloud gaming is different. But in the grand scheme of things, I do not care about that. The implementation doesn't matter. What's the performance like? And I'm still seeing people saying that the performance of xCloud isn't great. Depending on the device that they're playing it on. And I'm just, I'm past time, and I don't care that it's in beta. It's been in beta for years. So what? At this point, talking about it being in beta is like talking about Star Citizen still being in beta. It ain't never going to get fully released. We all know this. Not saying xCloud will never get fully released, but saying something that's been in beta for years, like using that as an excuse why the performance still sucks. I don't care. That's irrelevant to me. You're still marketing this. You're still making improvements to this. You're still dedicating resources to this. It's still inferior to another option that I have. And with that other option, I am for 85% of the year on the free tier for GeForce Now, because I work from home. I don't really go to, I don't travel for work, so I don't really need anything more than that. I can't remember the last time I used GeForce Now. But when I go with the summer, we normally do 2 vacations a year. We do one in June. We do another one right before the kids go back to school in August. In the summer is when I decide to upgrade to GeForce Now Ultimate. $20 a month. I got a 4080 in the cloud. And frankly, it's doing more than what the devices that I'm using it on can display. One of my laptops, the screen's a 60 hertz screen. So I configure the settings of the game to accommodate the fact that I'm only going to see 60 frames per second anyway. Any other devices that I have that can do 120 hertz that I'm playing it on, all right, bet. I can set it that way, and I get that performance. And that's the point, is that I actually get the performance I'm looking for. And it's not bad. It's not native, but it's damn close. And so I say all that to say, yeah, this don't move the needle for me at all. So I'm good, man. Now, you Forte, I think you probably do throughout the year more traveling than I do. So, what does this do for you?
Nothing. I'm not streaming.
Nothing.
It's the only time I've ever streamed anything. Now, I thought about if I had a portal, would I do it? It really depends. Like if I had a portal, I probably would do it.
Mm-hmm. For PlayStation?
Well, yeah, I'm saying for PlayStation, but for Xbox, like, what am I gonna? I'm not gonna stream to my phone. I
have a portal now. I used it for Now I would say this though. My big issue with mobile is that I don't like the controls of it.
That's the thing. I don't like the controls.
But the portal feels like I'm holding a DualSense.
DualSense,
I'm fine
right?
with.
Yeah. So I'm willing to kind of do that.
I used it for 2 weeks and I don't use it no more.
Right.
I may bring with me on vacation.
Well, I played
but I'm not really.
Yeah, one of my associates has one, so I played it even on our crappy Wi-Fi at work. And it runs really well. Like I I watched him play Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Wilds while he was there, showing me like builds and stuff that he did. So is it ideal? No, but when it's the only thing you have at that time, you kind of forget that you're not attached to a physical, connection to your console. It's all digital. So I guess it's just a perception of you. Once you kind of accept that that's how it is, like all of the roadblocks and barriers go away. But when I think about using like a mobile phone or something, I just think about the control schemes, like you just said. I'm not going to play like that. That bothers me more than just it being a streaming situation. Now,
Right.
If it's like on my laptop, maybe I would do it there because I could hook up like a physical controller to it, or I could play keyboard and mouse or something like that. And like something like a lot of people in the chat were talking. They said they play predominantly RPGs and stuff like that. So it's definitely there for some people to do. Like I can see myself playing a game like Triangle Strategy, or probably even Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth or something like that, because it's not you versus another person. It's just maybe just the sync is a little bit off when it comes to playing it yourself. But at least you're able to do it, and I can see yourself doing it if it's the only way you can actually, access it. But it just wouldn't be the preferred way, and I think that will always kind of be the scenario for most people. If you can't natively if you have the option to natively hook up and play it natively, you're always going to do that over, the obscure case where you might just want to try something out, like you might be reviewing it if you're a YouTuber, or it might be a brand new piece of tech that you bought, or matter of fact, when Xbox comes out with their new with their handheld, it might be a situation where you don't have enough memory on your system at that time, but you can do games. You can do game streaming and just, try the game out before it. Now, that's something I do on my PC all the time. If there's a game, or even on Xbox, if there's a game that I just want to see what it plays like, I'll do the game stream on it, so I don't have to like wait for it to install just to see what the game feels like or what it looks like. And then I'll make a decision if I just want to download it from there, especially if there's like games that people recommend to me. So I think it's really, really good in that aspect. I can see people like using it as like a workaround other than downloading a whole game to try it. But if people have the option, they're going to download it and play it that way. But it all just comes down to your scenario. Everybody's going to have a scenario where they're in, where they feel like it's worth it to them. And like you're willing to spend the money for GeForce Now because in those scenarios and situations, it's beneficial to you and it doesn't bother you. But I guarantee if I ask you, hey, SloMo, are you going to do that while you're sitting at your house 99% of the time if you have the option to just download it on your console or your PC, or maybe you don't want to, maybe you ready to go to bed and you want to take it up to your room with you? Is it a good chance that you're going to do that, or are you just going to play it right where you're at in your house? And you're most likely you're going to say, yeah, I'm just going to take my ass to bed because my wife's going to kick my butt if I bring a handheld to the bed with me.
Definitely the latter. Like
you always talk about how I gotta sneak into the bed and make sure she don't kill me.
Yeah, so it's just I'm not interested in a cloud experience when I can get it native. Like and this, I've done this. Like I'll take last year for example. I brought the Nintendo Switch with me, the Switch OLED I got. I brought my laptop that I use GeForce Now on, and I feel like I had a third device. Can't remember. Did I have? I may have still had a Steam Deck then. Nah. I can't remember what I had. I think I may have had a Logitech G Cloud, which is also cloud based. I used the Switch the majority of the time. And I played Fire Emblem for like the 5 millionth time, and I did play some other games, But it was on GeForce Now. But I think at the time the game I wanted to play, GeForce Now did not quite have. And then I think it showed up like as I was coming home is when it was like, hey, that game that just came out, it's coming to GeForce Now. I was like, damn it, this was just a week earlier. But yeah, like I'm gonna choose a native experience over cloud every day of the week. And even with the Switch, when like the frame rate may be complete garbo, but the latency isn't. And so you can adjust to a low frame rate. Your eyes will adjust eventually. Latency, you can never really adjust to that. And I'm not saying GeForce Now is bad, it's not. But like some of the other cloud options aren't great. And when latency sucks, it's just like, you're trying to get the timing right, especially for a quick twitch kind of game. And it's really frustrating, at least for me. I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. So I just I'll say nah. But anything else you want to say on this before we move on?
No, good.
To the next topic. This is oh boy, Nintendo under fire once again. So Nintendo, like people still coming after them. People are still spamming drop the price in the live streams. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
They have announced that, I think they announced this earlier today, that the new pre-order date is April 24th.
Yep.
And the price of the Switch 2 will remain at $449 for now. If you kind of look at the language, it may not stay there forever, but for now, it will remain at $449. But yet also some of those accessories that we saw, like the getting a separate dock and the camera with the terrible resolution and all the other stuff, Switch 2 Pro controller, the price of those are going up. And so it ain't even out yet. We already got price increases. And it doesn't look like Nintendo's going to drop anything, as if we thought they ever would. Come on now, right? If you thought Nintendo was going to drop prices, you don't know Nintendo. Now, Forte, what are your thoughts about the Switch 2 console itself remaining the same price? And what are your thoughts about the accessories going up?
W.
For who?
W for the system not going up. Not W for us. Because I swear I thought it was going, even though they suspended.
But check this out. People weren't. More people are upset about the games than the console, but there are some people who are still upset about the price of the console.
Yeah, but
I said this was going to happen.
Well, I knew this was probably going to happen too, but this is the thing, though. Nobody knows.
I said this was going to happen where people would forget that they were upset about the price of the console too when they found out that the console wasn't going up due to tariffs.
Oh yeah, because the price instantly became better in their minds because they thought they were going to spend more money.
They were bracing for $550, $600.
Sure was.
And now it's still $449. They're like, yay, celebrating.
So you think it worked in Nintendo's favor? It worked in Nintendo's favor to get people off their back about the price of the console.
I think this is going to sound very like tinfoil-ish, but I feel like they never were going to raise the price of the console. But they pulled pre-orders because they needed to kind of figure out some things internally. But the price of the console was always going to remain the same. And
so you think Nintendo was going to eat that?
No. Well,
if they didn't put a hold on the tariffs for 90 days, you think they were going to eat that?
No. I don't think they would.
Nintendo wasn't going to eat that. They ain't going to eat that. Like, I agree with you 100%.
There were people that felt like they were going to use the excuse of the tariffs to raise prices even higher. And I don't think that was ever the case.
No, I don't think that was the case. Yeah, I don't think that was the case.
Nintendo always prices their hardware to have a profit at launch. Always.
Yep, always.
So the price of 450, like that APU, that it's an Nvidia APU. It ain't exactly top of the line. You know, it's not exactly the very best that's out there. And I think that they're making a healthy profit, not like a huge margin, but a healthy profit where it is right now. And they would raise the price if the tariff was going through that. Now, people looking at the China thing and going like, oh man, what does that say for Switch 2? They already, in anticipation of that, switched their production to Vietnam, and they still have components that are, you know, in China, but those components are being moved from China to Vietnam to be assembled in Vietnam, and then here now Vietnam also has a tariff as well. I think a 10% tariff for the United States, but like it's not. I think for them, they were like, we're going to stay where we are. Doing so also but kind of get some of these people off our back for at least part of the things that they're upset at us about. But the games themselves, like that's the main that people are still upset about, like their variable pricing when it comes to, you know, more popular games that they make having a higher price than the other stuff, like Mario Kart World compared to Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example. I think that's what most people are still upset about and will continue to be upset about, even though I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things. If you are going to complain about this and still buy it, save it. Save your complaints.
They should have complained when Tears of the Kingdom came out. They should have complained then.
No, they did complain,
and
then they still bought it.
Exactly.
Look, you can complain. All the complaints in the world don't matter if you're still going to buy it, because they don't care about what you say. They give 0 Fs about how you feel. How you feel, how much you complain. You are wasting bandwidth, finger tapping, and your time and energy typing drop the price in the chats of live streams. I find it hilarious, and more power to you. That for being committed to it, it ain't gonna change anything. What will change things is if whatever their expected sales are from Mario Kart World isn't what it is. That changes things. Now, we got a problem now, because we expected to sell. Now, I do think that they understand how economics works. The higher you make a price, the lesser it's going to cost. So I do not expect that they think Mario Kart World will sell at the same clip, like the same cadence that Mario Kart 8 did. I think they think it will outsell Mario Kart 8 eventually, because they consider it to be like a live service kind of game for them. So as long as they're consistently updating the game over time, people will continue to keep buying it. But if it's not hitting the numbers that they thought it would hit, that changes things. And that's the only power us as a consumer have. Yet we still got these people out here that will say with a straight face, I don't like it. I don't like these prices. Nintendo are shady. They're anti-consumer. I hate them. I hate their face. I hate Bowser's name. Why the heck did you hire a man named Bowser as your CEO in Nintendo of America? I feel like you did it on purpose. I feel like you probably changed his name to make it Bowser simply to make him the CEO. It's stupid. They're stupid. I'm still buying one though. Everything you said before that doesn't matter. To Nintendo? Oh, he's still buying? I bet. That's all they care about, bro. I'm still getting the Mario Kart World bundle with a Switch 2. Stop talking. Just don't even complain. Because your complaints mean nothing. You're still giving them your money. You're still a customer. That's all they care about. Forte?
Yeah.
Anything else to say? I don't know. I mean,
I was thinking when you said it. No, I'm good. It's It's Nintendo. But listen, I guess I will say this. Like you said, people spoke with their wallets. And guess what they'll do again on the 24th of April? They'll speak with their wallets again. I'm part of the problem because price doesn't would I spend $100 for Mario Kart? Probably not. But I'm not gonna spend that even $80 because I'm getting mines in the bundle. So now would I buy Mario Kart separately for $80? It's kind of hit or miss. I don't know.
Can I say something real quick? Go
ahead.
The audacity of Nintendo to show. I know we talked about this at the live stream. We did the reaction of it. Yeah. But the fact that gameplay or the video in game chat was running at less than 10 frames per second, the audacity of them to show that. They just don't. And the fact that you have to pay in the subscription to even have access to this trash. Yep. Wow.
Listen, people.
You just do not care. You know, slow-mo running Nintendo would have edited that footage. I would have had native non-game chat footage running. I would have photoshopped it running in the game to make it look like it was running perfectly, and then let people find out when they get it that it's some dookie. it's terrible. And then when they complain, I'm like, hey, we working on it, bro. I wouldn't have shown that. That was very bold of them to show that terrible performance. But my bad. Go
ahead. Yeah, I feel you on that. It ultimately is just gonna come back to everybody's gonna buy this thing, and I won't lie, I don't have a problem with the variable pricing on their games because I feel like you should be able to charge. I think we just gotten so used to games just being a flat rate of like the base version of a game is this price. Now people don't complain when the game's cheaper. They definitely don't care. Like if the game is $39.99 and they come out with an $80 limited edition or collector's edition version, people don't care. It's like, oh, that's a deal. But if you go in the opposite direction, you know, your game's $59.99 and then for some reason you come out with a $79 version, that's when people get upset when it goes up. And I get it. It's just a psychology around purchasing and how money works and stuff. But I feel like if a game is worth it to you, you'll buy it. If it's not worth it to you, you won't buy it. And Nintendo was playing the dangerous game of cat and mouse with their customer base. But guess what? I guarantee you they feel like they got a big ball of yarn tied around every last one of these games. And it's like, we know that the ball of yarn that we got to entice you guys to spend more money is going to take you off the fact that it's basically going to take you off the fact of you're paying 10 to 15, in some cases $20 more for these games than some other game that we're going to release that you don't care that much about, that you'll probably still end up buying. And but that ball of yarn that Mario Kart got going around it is going to entice people to pay $80. But if you're smart, you just get the bundle if you care about Mario Kart. This is like the easiest scenario and situation to put yourself in, SloMo. It is so easy. It's simple. Just like when Nintendo told everybody years ago when Mario All-Star 3D was going to be a limited release, and they're even going to take it off the Nintendo eShop. I told people day one, the moment Nintendo announced that, I was like, I'm buying a copy sealed and I'm buying a copy to play. And I'm never going to open my sealed copy because that game's going to be gold by the time the generation's over. And guess what? You can't buy that game anywhere, but if you wanted that game physical, you have to either buy it on somebody off the third market or you have to buy a used copy. And even used copies of that game go for $119. You can't buy it anywhere else. And guess what? I told people to do it then. This is your opportunity when it comes to the Mario Kart bundle. If you don't want to pay $80 for Mario Kart and you want to switch to, buy the one that comes with Mario Kart. And you only pay $50 for Mario Kart. If you don't decide to buy it then, it is your own fault if you go out and spend $80 on it after the fact.
Or, hear me out.
Go ahead.
Black Air Forces. Just a thought. Black Air Forces.
You spitting. Talk about the downtowns. Nintendo said we ain't going downtown, we going uptown.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, look, you know, if you
Black
know,
forces. If you know, you know.
You know. All right, let's move on to this last topic because I really want to discuss this stuff with you. Last topic of tonight is about Marathon, Bungie's new game that's coming out in September
23rd, same day as Borderlands.
That was not the smartest idea for Bungie, but we'll see.
We're gonna find out whose IP stronger.
All right. Marathon is an extraction shooter. It's a paid one. Price has not been stated yet. It's not going to be a full priced game. It's not going to be like $70, but it is all definitely paid. So I'm thinking like anywhere between $40 and $60 is what we're looking at for.
That's a premium game at $60, bro.
But they did use the word specifically premium in their comments.
They did say premium price. Yeah.
We will see. Gameplay was shown last Saturday, so we haven't had the opportunity to talk about it on the DPS podcast until now. Some other little things here. It's going to launch Marathon. It is with 6 runners, which are the 6 different characters that you can choose, 3 different modes, and just 3 maps at launch, with a 4th map to be added shortly after. That 4th map will supposedly have raid-like mechanics to it.
Yeah.
The game will have no VoIP chat, so there will be no talking trash to the people that you downed. There will be no trash talking, against the other team, period. You know, a lot of the stuff that people like to do in these kind of games, as far as that, apparently Bungie finds that too toxic and don't want anything to do with it. The closed alpha is set for this Wednesday, and it will have 2 maps available. Not all the runners, but I think 4 runners, 2 maps, I believe. And is there anything else I've missed here? Nope, that's it. Set to launch on September 23rd, and there will be a beta, at some point as well, before it does officially launch. Forte.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about Marathon?
So Marathon. I had to really sit down and think about it, because if my feelings on it would have came out after the show, because I think I was already like kind of down on it just due to how slow and everything the gameplay looked and everything, which they did address, because they said it was because of the stamina bar and everything. That's why the gameplay looks slow, because you have to build back up your stamina. There's abilities to actually get that cooldown to go faster, and it's basically a movement ability, which makes sense. They want you to use your maneuverability when you have to use it in the most important time. So that's kind of what they're going with. Still just seems kind of just way too slow. But I did get a chance to see a lot of the alpha gameplay that people put out. It does look.
I forgot. I wanted to add this.
Go ahead. I know what you're about.
Because you mentioned alpha footage, and I forgot
that they lifted. Yeah, they lifted.
Yeah, they lifted the NDA so that the people who had been playing the game prior to its reveal can speak openly about it. Officially, they say that after the reaction to the gameplay reveal, which wasn't good,
it was not.
Leadership was nervous, but they tried to reassure their teams working on Marathon. Ultimately, they figured it would shift the narrative if the NDA was lifted. Now, I feel like another game did this recently, where they tried to change the narrative of the game by lifting the NDA on it. I can't remember what game that was. The reason why I say that is that I wondered if that had any effect on, like, did it work? Did it have any effect on how the reception of the game turned out? I just can't remember what the game was, but it was definitely recently.
I do remember. I forget what game it is. I will say this. I think that they had to lift that NDA.
Right, it wasn't Concord. It wasn't Concord, right?
Oh, no, they had to lift the NDA on that, because I will say, watching, and the people I watch, a lot of the Destiny content creators that got a chance to play it. And at first they said it was kind of this and that, but then once they got, like, a couple people said, after 30, 40 hours of playing, it finally clicked for them. I feel like that's still way too long. That's way too long.
That's way too long. 30, 40 hours. Yeah. You're not getting the vast majority of the gaming community to play your game for 30, 40 hours before they finally say, oh, I get it, and I'm having fun now. Nah, fam, you got 2 hours tops to get people to really lock in.
So for me, the only thing that is kind of worrisome about it is, well, that's part of it, because I feel like the Destiny community is going to give them a lot of leeway, and they're going to give them a lot of feedback on the things that they like and they don't like about the game, but they're not going to openly talk critically about the game on their channels and stuff like that, because everybody likes that access that they get. Not to say that they're not gonna tell you the truth or anything. I just don't think they're just gonna, the things that they're not gonna, like, hammer down on the things they truly don't like on the game. They'll basically just talk about it as things they want to be better in the game versus the way that they are in the thing. And the game was only in an alpha state, so a lot of stuff can change over time. But there was, like, a lot of people that were talking about how they loved the gameplay and everything, and watching them play it, I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. It actually got me more interested in it, so it did work, I think, because my sentiment was like, I'm good. I don't even want to try the game. But after seeing some of the gameplay footage and stuff, I was like, okay, I'm definitely back on giving it a try. That's when I found out about the stamina perk and stuff, where that's the reason it looks slow like it does. The game, the teamwork and everything that's in the game. I think those things are all great, but it ultimately just comes back to the genre that this game is in. And this isn't 2013, 2014 when Bungie was the only thing on the block when it came to this type, not this game in general, but when we're talking about live services, Borderlands was it, and they were just coming off of Borderlands 2, and it was nothing on the horizon for a while. And they had, the name of Bungie behind them, the creators of, Halo, and people were super excited to see what the next iteration of a Bungie game would be. And Destiny took off. Some people, I mean, like I said, 21 million people purchased that game in the first 48 hours. So it had a lot of people there. It didn't keep all those people. It kept a good amount of them, but I don't know if that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen with this game. Like, everybody said that the gameplay, like even looking at the gameplay, like the gunplay, I can see the Bungie magic there. I can see the guns feeling good. I can see the gunplay just as good as it's always been, but it's still in a genre that, I mean, I can only speak for myself, that I just don't care about. Maybe this game can make me care about it, but I don't think so. So, and I think there's a lot of people like that. So I think that's the biggest uphill battle this game has to climb, because it has to make itself, it has to do something that this genre game hasn't done yet. And that's capture an audience of people on a wide scale to be able to get people to drop the things that they're playing to play this. Bungie was able to do that with Destiny to an extent, but Fortnite can just copy anything at this point. All of Epic works on it. So if there's something that is in Marathon that is good enough and they feel like it would be beneficial to them, it's not hard for them to flip that over and create it themselves in their own little spin-like way within a 2 to 3 week period. And guess what? That's inside of Fortnite. So I just think the landscape is different. Not saying they can't do it, because I do believe in the developers there to do it. I just don't know if the players are going to be there to make it be as a hit as it needs to be, or I should say PlayStation wants it to be, and surely Bungie wants it to be.
Yeah, I think this game is going to have an uphill battle to deal with. One, the initial reveal didn't go as planned, clearly, based on their own feedback, and so they're really going to have to really rely on these alphas and getting enough people to try the game out in order to kind of reverse the public sentiment, which is going to be difficult because it's kind of running into the same issue that Concord ran into. Now, I played Concord. Concord was a good playing game. It was a good playing hero shooter. But a lot of people never found that out because they never played it. They didn't get into the beta to play it, and they definitely weren't going to spend $40 to give it a shot when its competitors, its rival hero shooters out there are free-to-play experiences. So that's something that Marathon is going to have to that's a hurdle they're going to have to overcome, because you are a paid game and you're competing for players that are most likely more interested in other extraction shooters that aren't paid. And they already have a little bit of that time investment already there. So in order to steal players away from another established game, a couple of things have to happen. The established game has to have been disappointed the player in some way, shape, or form. It has to already have people who are discontent and looking for something else to shift their allegiance to, so to speak. And then it also needs to play good, which I think this probably will play good, despite how much I dislike the movement. I don't like the movement at all, but I think the gunplay looks solid. But again, you can't really tell that too much until you start playing the game. So I will give it a shot. But that said, it's got to play good. And it's gotta have something that you're not going to get anywhere else. And nothing that I really saw here, as far as extraction shooters go, are things that I haven't played in an extraction shooter before. And so I do think they got an uphill battle to try to get people to really give this a shot. And I think when it comes to their pedigree, I think that can only go so far. They don't really have any experience in this kind of genre. The bulk of their player community are Destiny 2 players, and I've seen other Destiny 2 players who have been content creators who have been playing this game say that this isn't even for that crowd. It's not that kind of game. Doesn't mean that there won't be Destiny 2 players that won't start playing this. But this isn't like they didn't really intend on trying to satisfy that community. So, like I'm not a big extraction shooter guy, but I did enjoy Call of Duty DMZ, which was fantastic. I enjoyed Scavengers, which was great. And I enjoyed the Cycle game that was a extraction shooter. None of those games are 2 games in a mode for Call of Duty. None of that stuff's alive anymore. It's really, I think extraction shooters are somewhat unique in the live service arena, where they don't have as many people who are into those kind of games as you'll find in battle royales or hero shooters or arena shooters or whatever else kind of like live service kind of game, that are popular right now. And it's well, I think it's mostly due to the fact of the risk that's involved with it. Like if you played, and I always use this example, even though it's not quite just like an extraction shooter today, but like the Division Dark Zone. And I always use that example simply because of the way the community reacted to the Dark Zone. There were players who just refused to go in there because they didn't want to deal with the PvP aspect of things. But there's that, but what they really hated was the losing of things. Losing loot. Now, that's not even like this, where in Marathon, you could lose the shirt on your back. You could lose everything if you die. Whereas in the Division, you would just lose loot that you found in that particular session. Like the gear you came in, the weapons you came in on are still yours. Extraction shooters are very different now, where that's a aspect of it that a lot of players aren't happy about. People like to see growth and progress. They don't like to see a regression or losing things. And there are players clearly who are down for that kind of experience. They like the tension. They like the risk, the risk of losing, good gear, losing what they have. But that's not everyone. And I think, a good majority of the gaming community are of the mind that they're not really trying to deal with that. And I think Bungie, I've seen people who played it talk about how they got like these faction endorsements kind of thing, where if without a faction you lose, you come back in, you're coming back in with white gear. You're coming back in with the bottom of the barrel stuff. Whereas these factions can kind of like sponsor you to get you a little bit better gear. I think they may need to tweak that a little bit, because the way they were speaking, like the gear that you get is like you can replace that gear with better stuff like 5 minutes into the next match. So what's the point? So it's I think they have an uphill, again, I think they got an uphill battle to go. It could play well, but as we mentioned earlier in the show, we see a lot of live service games play well.
Right.
And they ain't here no more.
They ain't here no more.
So I do like the art design though. I think that's something that this has going for it that Concord didn't. I think the art design, it's not gonna be for everyone, but it's unique and different. And when you look at it, you know what you're looking at. Like if of course I'm the one that's displaying the gameplay, but if I just was scrolling through Blue Sky or Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and I saw a clip of Marathon gameplay, I know that's Marathon gameplay now based upon the art direction, because no one else is doing it. And sure, there are going to be some people that'll be like, I don't like that, but I like it. I think it's dope. I think that uniqueness and then the fact that it looks good will get people not doing what they did with Concord, which was just straight up be like, this is garbage. Right. And it's garbage simply because they hate the way all the characters look. And that ain't me. I care more about gameplay than that, but I can't discount how someone's gonna feel and how they feel is valid. And that's why some games are around, some games aren't around. It could be for very superficial reasons. And as far as they're concerned, I remember, this is a great example actually, when I was in the alpha for the Division Heartland, I remember playing the Division Heartland and having a good time. I remember winning like a match where we extracted, we got out, I got all this legendary loot. It was fantastic. And the guys I was playing with wanted to, I think there was like a function to just like go in again, like stay within the party, because we just won. So I think we did that and we went back to like this, like it was like a a skating rink that they had turned into a base of operations.
Right.
And so we went back in and we died in like 5 minutes. Like, we died immediately and lost everything. I heard the reaction of them other two guys that was with me. It was not good. They were like, yo, I lost everything. I lost everything.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
disconnect. And I'm there by myself and I'm like, oh man. So it's an acquired taste. It's not gonna be for everyone.
That's the funny thing, because I don't know if you got a chance, if you watched any, like Skill Up did a video on it, because he got a chance to go to the gameplay thing, and he talked about it in his video. He was like, you know, the one thing about this game is, you know, Bungie is so used to having their, you know, hardcore community support the games that they have. And he said he doesn't see really most of the Destiny community doing this. He said because of that one thing. He was like, so you're telling me at the end of a season, when all of your stuff is wiped away and everybody starts from zero, you know, weapons, gear, everything. He's like, you can't even get Destiny players to delete items in their vote that they haven't equipped on their character in 6 years. You can't even get them to delete that stuff. How are they going to feel when you tell them at the end of a season, which is 3 to 4 months, that they lose everything? He's like, that's just not going to appeal to those type of people.
I don't think if this game is successful, it's not going to be off the backs of the Destiny community. It's going to be successful because it created its own community from people who were new to this kind of genre and found and liked it.
Yep.
And so they stuck with it, or they were people who are into extraction shooters in general and played it and enjoyed it. You're not, and I think they probably understand that they can't rely on the Destiny community to play this. It's not going to happen. It's a very different kind of game, and it's going to require a different kind of gamer and what they're interested in and like playing. I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, we'll see. I'll play it. I think they. One other things, they showed a lore video or a story trailer or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they probably should have waited on that, because
they said a lot of people. They said a lot of the content. Like I was talking to shout out to Cognito. He did Last Word later that day after the show. And they were on the show with a couple people that were at the reveal, and Cognito told them, was like, yeah, man, nobody I know liked that part at all. And he said that people were shocked. And he was like, no, it kind of makes sense. He said, you guys were excited for it because you got a chance to play it. You got a chance to experience it. So when you got a chance to see it, you had context behind it. People that were just watching the stream knows nothing about what they saw. And it just killed the whole, even if they were interested in the game, it just killed all their excitement, because it's like, what is this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. That's why I say I feel like it was not timed well.
Yeah.
I feel like a trailer like that, you gotta have a little bit of like a lore stream with it. Not a lore stream. I'm trying to. You need to have some of your narrative team sit down and do kind of like these marketing fluff pieces where they really kind of like explain things as they go along, and then as you're doing that, then or after that, then you do this trailer that you know is really kind of deep into it. And I think I saw what you're talking about, where people who have played a lot of the game already were seeing that trailer and they got it. Like, it made a lot of sense to them. They really enjoyed it. But for people who literally had they literally just saw the gameplay like 30 minutes ago. Like, they don't know anything about this game whatsoever. Like, it's kind of like if I'm playing, it's kind of like playing Dragon Age. seeing them reveal Dragon Age, then having a big lore video on like stuff that happened, you know, like historical battles that happened in the world of Thetis. As a Dragon Age fan, I get it. That's fascinating to me. Wow, you know, I've just read codexes that talk about this, but I didn't actually get to experience it myself. I find that trailer fascinating. Everyone else would be like, what is this? What are they talking about? What's going on?
Right.
You know, and I think a great example of that, there's a trailer, and I have it recorded, and I never even saw this before the game came out, but it was a trailer for Dragon Age 2, where Hawk, the main character, is fighting the Arashok, one of the Qunari general. And that happens in Act 2 of the game. And it was a very like CG cut scene, fantastic, like directed. You're seeing Hawk use all these abilities. You're seeing Eric, like it's a great directed, choreographed fight.
Mm-hmm.
But like, to me, that had more meaning to me because I played through Dragon Age 2 multiple times. I know these characters. I know exactly what was going on when it happened. I know what the cutscene was referencing. Anyone else would just be like, there's some big, you know, really, really pale looking muscle bound guy fighting a dude with a birthmark on his face. You know, it looks dope, but I don't care. You know, and right. I think when you do story videos like trailers like that, they're better off when people have a bit more context of what the heck is going on, why what's happening is happening, or it's a video that you're doing post game content, like after people play the game. And there's a lot more like understanding of the world, the lore, the context of what the conflict is. Then you put out a story trailer and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see what they're going with here. Oh, I see what they may be putting a couple Easter eggs in there here and there about what may be coming in the next season. That kind of stuff. It's just doing it like 10 minutes after you reveal the gameplay. Not the smartest move in my opinion. But anything else you want to say about this before we wrap it up?
No, man. Hopefully Bungie can you know, get people to be super excited for the show that they're doing on the 6th next month. So I'll be there to look at it and watch it. I'm definitely interested in the game. I just don't know if it's going to be something that's long term for me. But the one thing I will give them, they've always, you know, and I think that was like the biggest let down for me with the reveal was they just didn't have that normal Bungie excitement when it comes to like showcasing the game. I thought, like Gregor said it in the chat, like the interviews they did, everything, the devs talking and stuff like that it felt so uninspired.
I don't like that format. That format never works in my opinion. The best format is to if you're going to have a developer sitting down somewhere or put a camera in front of him or her and just be explaining the game, that you edit it in a way where there's actual gameplay showing what they're talking about, so that the player, some people are visual learners, you know, or they the way they absorb knowledge is by actually seeing things. When you combine the explaining of it verbally with the visual of what they're explaining, that has a much better impact than a bunch of guys sitting on some couches and some lawn chairs or whatever, you know, in a studio. Now look at gameplays being shown and they're just talking. And like a lot of information gets missed that way.
Yeah, and the thing is, they used to do great jobs with even the format that they did in this. They used to do great jobs of showcasing it, because they used to do things like early in Destiny called ride-alongs, where they would have a developer for a particular thing, like say a new DLC came out, like when the Taken King came out for Destiny 1, they had a ride-along for the Dreadnought. And it was basically the art team, the environment team, came into the studio and talked about the things that they did and the inspirations that they took as they were playing the game and walking through the environments and showcasing things that people probably missed or didn't see. But that was for the people that want to know about all of that type of stuff when it comes to like the environments and everything like that. So it's like very well focused towards the people that show is for. And I thought they did a great job because like you said, they were showcasing the stuff as they were playing it versus in this stream where it's just a mass reveal of the whole game to people. If you're going to have a combat person talking about the combat, why won't you have that person showcasing that in game? Like just because it's an online game doesn't mean you have servers where you could just like showcase abilities and stuff. People on YouTube do it all the time when they showcase damage numbers and they say, oh, this gun 2 taps or this gun is a 3-tap kill or this game has a 1.2 port TTK and stuff, and they're showcasing it in like a more exciting way to get you excited for the thing that they're showing you. I just felt like they kind of missed the boat on that because they were just talking, and it's nothing wrong with just talking, but you're not stimulating anybody by doing the thing that you're doing by just showing a person on the screen with just the occasional pop-up of a person running through an environment in the game that is completely detached from what they're doing.
It has nothing to do with what they're talking about, the gameplay that you show. I'll use a point that Gregor just made in the chat about digital extremes and Warframe. Like the story behind how the parkour and the movement in Warframe works is a fascinating story because it was kind of like an accident. It was actually a bug they had in their movement that players have figured out and just decided to just start moving. And they realized I can move around the map much quicker this way by doing this. And then Digital Extremes saw it and was like, oh, we didn't intend that. But I mean, shoot, they like it and it works and there's nothing wrong with it, we keep it. We expand upon it. We make it better. And, imagine a developer saying that, like I just said it. If you haven't played Warframe before, you don't know what that movement looks like. You don't know how important that is to how to play the game. You don't care. It means nothing to you. And so it's just like, it's the difference between just telling someone something and you're saying it as you're showing them, and see what the difference is between the movement of Warframe just running through the map and the movement of Warframe doing the parkour movement, which makes you get through it way faster. It's just, it's not the same. I would say that this also, they did a 15-minute gameplay, like kind of content thing where they showed some of the content creators out there, like what's the guy, Hidden Xperia, who's a Halo content creator. They showed Dr. Lupo, who does a lot of Tarkov content. They should use basically all their like content creators they brought in to play it. They showed them playing, but I think and I don't think it was edited in a way that really gave people who were new to extraction shooters the feeling of understanding how an extraction shooter played, because it was just too many cuts, too much editing, and it seems like they were trying to cut out any downtime that may have been. But I feel like that's what you need people to see. They need to understand exactly how a match will go. They need to understand how the strategy that's involved in it. They need to see teams working together and doing those things, not just, hey, let's just edit out any kind of what people might feel is boring and just show them the firefights, because it's giving you're showing gameplay, but it's giving kind of an incorrect look at how the game is going to be played. Show them a straight up match that's barely edited. Maybe show just one or two teams and see that they end up engaging with one another and what they did that led up to the engagement, so that people can understand how it really feels to play this game. And then people can see people's actually using the abilities, using, the characters that have great movement, using characters that are whose jobs are to reveal enemies around you that are hidden. All these kind of things, like you could actually see a team working together, and then you'll have an idea of how this will actually play. Instead of, I got freaking Dr. Lupo's big head on the screen for the majority of the time. I'm just like, I don't care to look at Dr. Lupo. Can you show the gameplay? And and it's just
right.
It is what it is, man. So yeah, I think it's not quite as bad as Concord in misrepresenting the game.
No,
in Concord, because when they first showed the gameplay for Concord, there's a lot of people that had no idea what they were looking at.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh, this is the Destiny." And I'm like, "No, this is not a looter. This is a hero shooter." Mm-hmm. And people just like, "No, it's not a hero shooter." They literally said it's a hero shooter. Well, what I saw didn't look like a hero shooter. I'm like, but it's it's just like, what can you say? It's a hero shooter, bro. It's just, and I think if you don't want to show how the game is really going to play, are you really even confident in your product or the people that you're marketing the game towards? Because if you feel like, oh, we don't want to show the stuff that may feel boring, then I mean, when they play the game, how do you think they're going to feel? It's better that you show them ahead of time what the game is like than they actually get into it and realize, yeah, this wasn't for me. But maybe they don't care. Maybe they want that $40 or $60 or whatever the heck it's going to cost, and hope they don't refund the game once they feel like I don't like it. Which again kind of goes into some of the other things. I guess this is the last thing we can talk about before we get into the outros. Onboarding. Because I saw a lot of people discussing the onboarding in the game and saying that they kind of feel like that's kind of a weak point for Bungie in their titles, and that they don't think the onboarding is as of right now. They got a few months to kind of tweak it, but the onboarding isn't very good, and they think that new players, especially as time goes on and everyone gets familiar, you know how it is in the beginning when you play a new game, mm-hmm. and just off a pure skill, just off the muscle, you bodying folks.
Yep.
And as we all get familiar with the game and its mechanics, everyone gets better. And the better players will come out on top, of course. But even the mid to low level players, if you're familiar with the game, you're going to beat up on new players.
Yeah.
When the adjustment period to understanding how to play the game takes a while, and if the skill gap's very large, you're going to have new players that are going to quit. Like you said, 30 to 40 hours. Gregor in the chat said 3 to 4 hours before people it starts to click with people. I think that's too long. And if you don't have proper onboarding, it's going to be problematic. Now, I disagree with the way Splitgate did their onboarding for that game. Simply because I thought it misrepresented what the total game was going to be like when you got into veteran players. Because in Splitgate, and I've said this before, when you hit level 15, like they actually protect new players from the veteran players up to level 15. All you played against was bots and other new players. Then you hit level 15, and then you're going against people who are nightcrawler all across the map, teleporting all over the place. That's not how you played the game. You may have used the portals here and there, and everyone else around you would just use the portals here and there. But they were basically playing the game like Halo or Call of Duty, and then come to realize that's not the kind of game this is. You may need to do that in Marathon, as far as have a particular, I don't know, level, maybe a rank or something, a certain number of matches you have to have under your belt before. And of course, you're not going to implement this at launch because everyone's brand new at launch, but 3 or 4 months down the line, implement some kind of way of protecting new players from their own ignorance, running into veteran players that just basically run their pockets, curb stomp them and move along. you might need to implement something that's going to kind of ease people into the experience, and then hit them with the full Monty once they've got enough time under their belt to understand the mechanics of the game, the characters, how they play, what they may be comfortable playing with, which class of runner they like, and then get them into people who know what they're doing. Like that, it will be a way of kind of keeping people a while longer in the game before they decide this ain't for me. Or maybe they do decide they like it after they've got, you know, enough time in there. But there are a lot of people out there, and you know, people can have the idea of screw them, I don't care. I'm like, you should care, because when you don't care about new players is when your game dies. When you're not getting new players in your game anymore, and you just find it fun to destroy the blueberries or the green guys, the rookies that just came in, the newbies. Well, destroying the newbies all the time lends to no more newbies, because you've gone through the population of people who are willing to give this game a shot. Every game has turnover, and so you're going to get some people who are going to fall off of the game after a while. Your hardcore players will still be there, but it's when you start to see that player base dwindling, you need fresh blood to come in to refill the ranks. If you're destroying the fresh blood and taking advantage of their ignorance, and they don't get enough time to learn and grow into the game as you did at launch, you end up in a situation where they quit too. And so where's your game at when it's dying? I saw this with Rogue Company. Like, people will go in and river dance on every newbie's face, and then they stop playing.
Yeah.
Then so where the new players at? They ain't coming through. Right. Imagine someone trying to play Halo Infinite right now and they ain't never played Halo before.
Oh man, bad times.
Bad times is coming for you.
Bad times, bro.
It doesn't matter the genre.
You put Halo down for a good month to 2 months, you gonna have a bad time until you get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't matter the genre of game. There has to be a process of onboarding. There has been 0 games that have been super sustainable by just like, hey, we just let it rock, man. We just do whatever. Even freaking Fortnite does this. When you're a brand new player in Fortnite, brand new players play in lobbies that are 80% bots. And it stays that way until you prove that you're actually good. And then when you're good, you play in lobbies that are 90% players.
Right.
But until then, you're in a bot lobby. And you can tell they're bots because they it's almost like they're begging you to kill them, you know? And it's just, you have to find a way to balance competitiveness with player basic community. You gotta understand that there are going to be high skill players, they're going to be like so-so players, and they're going to be the low skill players. If you want your game to die, you don't care about the low skill players. Because if you don't care about them, your game's going to die.
True.
Because unfortunately, and a lot of people don't realize they in this camp, there's a lot of low skill players out there. It's dudes that don't know they low skill, but they are.
He said dudes out here don't. You don't know that you are in the bottom 25%, but you are.
Yeah, but you are.
Well, somebody got to be there though. It's a top.
Exactly.
There's a middle and a bottom. Somebody has to be in the bottom.
That is a healthy community. That's a healthy community.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dorian says Tarkov is doing just fine.
Yep.
That's one game, Dorian. Name another game that treats the low skill players like doo-doo and say it's doing fine. You can't find one. They don't. if you want a sustainable gaming community, you have to care about all the players that's there and find a way to make it to and I'm not advocating for skill-based matchmaking, which it sounds like I may be advocating for that, but what I'm advocating for is finding a way, like, once you onboard people in, then now you open it up to everything to them, especially for like that kind of game. That shouldn't be difficult, especially for a game that's going to be a AAA game from a big time developer and should have a lot of players at launch, that like a few months down the road, you implement something that eases people in before they get to everyone else. Otherwise, what you really got is just people who just want to pad their stats against trash players.
Facts.
That's all it is. You just want to patch your stats against trash. Like, I don't mind patting my stats against trash players.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's why I be trying to get in there on day one. Like, we gotta go get us some meat, some fresh meat for the grinder.
Yeah. I play Call of Duty solo all the time, but I don't mind playing. And look, I know some of my homies is listening to this. They're about to get mad. I don't mind playing with some of my homies. Shout out to Numsy. I don't mind playing with Numsy because I know when I play with Numsy, I'm about to be styling on them out there. But it's not up to me.
Terrible skill-based matchmaking in here, sir.
Yeah, but it's like they need to protect those guys from me.
Yeah.
That needs to be something. If you are running a game, you would be better. You should do that. Protect some of those guys. And yeah, I'm not saying indefinitely. I'm not saying make it so it's impossible for like me to be in their lobbies, but like you gotta get people the opportunity to learn the game, because they're just certain people that they may end up enjoying it. They may be a long-term player playing the game, but if they get massacred in their first 2 hours playing the game, uninstall, never coming back.
X.
And so you can say, well, F them, I don't care about them. But I'm pretty sure Bungie and Sony care about them because they pay money. Their money is just as good as yours. And so that's gotta be important. Anything else you want to say about this before we move on?
No, I'm good, bro. We killed it. We killed it.
Okay. Let's get up out of here. Hit these outros. Forte, let everyone know where to find you, man.
we are gonna. Yeah, it's great. Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, all those great places. Going to be switched to if they allow us to use, serial numbers are still a thing, or social security numbers. Depends on which one you want to go with. Those are still things. Gonna be great. Oh, biggest thing, 24th. Don't wait. Please don't wait. If you want to switch to, make the decision soon so you can make sure you get one. It's going to be a bunch of crazy people out there because, everybody's going to be looking forward to it. So make sure you do your best to try to get one if you want one. Be safe out there too, because it ain't worth getting into fist fights. These ain't Pokemon cards, by the way. They're it's Nintendo products. We ain't got to hurt each other for them. Outside of that, man, it's going to be great. A great week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Check me out on IOP tomorrow with the Lords, and then I will actually be. Well, I'll talk about that next week. I'll be doing something with somebody else on their channel next Saturday. We'll talk about that next week. But outside of that, man, SloMo, as always, man, you do an amazing, great job, and I appreciate always doing the show with you. And I can't wait to talk again on. Well, me and you to do this all again on Thursday next week at the regular time.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I might probably have a live stream coming soon. That's outside of on the DPS podcast. We changed the name to DPS Gaming because we're going to do more than the podcast. And for the past few weeks, it's really just been the podcast and like a couple of the live streams for like other stuff that's popped up. But that's been more along the like work has been rough.
I need
for
you.
me lately, and
Yeah.
all the family things have been rough. So I need to get on the ball now.
Yeah, I also need you to, you know, I'm gonna need you to like call me and be on me, because I have 2 videos that are done on my PC that I just don't like. I don't like the way they came out, and I'm being very stickler to.
I'm gonna tell you right now, live in front of everyone. Make a thumbnail, upload a video. No video's
Just do
perfect.
it. I know.
Just upload a damn video. No video is perfect. You're not it's not going to be the perfect audio. The transition here was I messed up the just upload the video.
I know. I gotta get out my own way for that. That's probably what I'm gonna do, because they're on my PC. I literally went back and was messing with some edits and stuff and redid some audio on it. And I was like, I just don't like it. But I got to get out of my own head for it. You're right. That's when you said that.
I've released videos before that I didn't like, and then
I have too.
The reaction was like, "This was fantastic, thank you." I'm like, "Oh." One of my most popular videos on my channel is a video I did, the black hair video. I did not like that video. I didn't like the video. I didn't like the video, and I uploaded it, and there were things I thought that the part where I was doing the examples of bad hair implementation in games, I thought it was too long, and I didn't like how I transitioned to everything, and yet people was like, "No, this is great. I'm so glad you did this. You did this video," and now I'm like, "Oh, okay." So look, man, just upload the videos is what I'm saying.
Okay, there it is, bro.
All right. It's pretty late at night, 12:30 in the morning. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you guys pretty soon, man. Peace.
Peace. Appreciate you guys coming through.